But yeah, right here, Locked In to Win podcast with Herbert.
Herbert J.
Herbert.
Yeah.
Okay. Herbert. What you call it? Yeah. I let me apologize first and foremost. I don't know too much backstory other than that you ended up going to prison, changing your life, and now you have a business you're running.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, yeah,
yes. We
welcome. Herbert, pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Yes, thank you for being here with us, sharing your story. Yeah, what I know. So, pretty extreme comeback, right? You were facing life in prison. Now we're a business owner, entrepreneur,
yes.
a whole nine. All right, awesome. Well, glad to have you here.
Story, baby.
For real, that's powerful.
Love them.
So tell us, like, what was life like before all that mess that you had gone into? Like, what was it like growing up?
I mean, childhood was good for me. You know, I when I look back at it and reflect, like, it's a lot of like good highlights. You know, especially like I come from a single mother household. You know, I have a older sister that's like 20 years older than me.
Oh,
so
dang.
she's like, yeah, she's like more of a parental dynamic more than like sibling. You know. So growing up like with them two in the household, I had like two moms, right? Like, so it was kind of like there was always somebody there present. I feel for me, right? Like in my timeline, like the things that started getting kind of iffy is when my sister married. You know, once my sister married, she married this dude that was like very toxic, very hostile, violent, super aggressive, and just like the traditional Mexican, like, you
machismo,
know, yeah, all of that, yeah. Yeah, so
let me ask you this: that came into your guys' life like that. How did that affect you? Right, like.
So I mean, immediately it affects you, but it does a lot of damage on the long run.
Because I would imagine it comes to like just like with anything when I started experiencing like the realities of life. Some of the things were a shocker, like, so.
Well, I mean, like, how old were you at that time when she got married?
So when she got married, I was about to turn 12. So I was like 11 when I first met him.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, it's like the traditional, like, you know, Prince Charming comes in, you know, he flosses up some money, you know, does a little bit of favors. I did a seminar. Yeah, I did a seminar at Cal State Fulton where I spoke that he bought me a PS2 and I was like, oh, I like the guy.
Oh, yeah, of course, as a kid.
That time, it's like what, 2001, 2002, and like the PS2 was like the thing to have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People were waiting in line, you know, the Christmas shopping was just going crazy. They were selling out, and I got one because of him, so I was like, oh, I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that put a lot of like my guard down, but then again, I'm gullible, I'm a kid.
Yeah.
You know, so he moves in. Once he moved in, a lot of things started changing, you know, because I wasn't accustomed. Like, my mom had a manner of communication where it was like, I want you to do this, like, do it at this time, and this is what I expect from you, right? Like, it was very thorough, right? And when he came around, it was like, you got to fucking get it done now. Like, the whole energy level changed, right?
I'm sure the dynamic, because now there's another male figure in the home where you just had
but not just that, but like also too, like, the way that he sees like power and control, right? And it was like through intimidation, through fear. And at that time I was a kid, you know, so I don't know how to deal with it, but then I start seeing more, you know what I'm saying? He's like yelling at my sister. The day that they got married, they got into a fight.
Dang.
Not like a physical fight, but they were like an altercation, arguing. And for my family, it was kind of like, she's got to leave him. Right. And then, you know, like Mexican, like traditional households, it's kind of, you got to write it out till the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? Like, you made your choice. Now in the next year or two, you guys will get better. Right. Like the belief of that. Right. Mm-hmm. So they stayed together and it just got worse. You know what I'm saying? It just got worse. A lot of physical fights. You know, eventually once I turned like 12 and a half or 13, like I started defending myself, you know.
Was he being physical with you too? Oh,
yeah. And he was older, you know. I think he was older. So at that time, it was just a lot of like fighting back and forth, you know, and that time was like, wasn't the best time of my life, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm barely like 11, 12, 13. I'm seeking for that identity, right, of like what it is to be a man, one. Two, I'm transitioning from like elementary to like junior high. And junior high is very vicious, you know, because my name's Herbert. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be like, oh, Herbert the pervert, you know, things like that, right? So I'm fighting at school, I'm fighting at home. So I'm like very chaotic at that time, you know? So I had a lot of resentment, a lot of like aggression. And you know, you asked me how it affected me. And throughout the years, like it just stacked up, you know? So it led me to a lot of parties, right? I threw a lot of parties when I was a juvenile. You know, I was like bullshitting a lot. You know what I'm saying? I was running away from home, and my mom was sick. You know, at that time, she got very sick. She had like dialysis. You know, she ended up passing away when I was 18 of terminal
sorry
cancer.
to hear that.
You know,
Dang.
so a lot of it piled up, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm already relating.
Yeah, so it all started at that time, you know, and I wasn't aware of like how my emotions were like taking the decisions for me in a sense, right? Where it was
How
like,
to deal with them.
yeah, whatever looked good, felt good, like I would jump in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, cool, let's get high, let's get high, let's get drunk, let's get drunk, let's make some money, let's make some money. As long as I'm not in my present self, like I'm gonna be fine. You know, because being in my present self was like too painful. You know, being at the house and just listening to all the chaos was too painful. You know, stepping in and backing up my sister and fighting with this dude to then the next day for them to be all lovey-dovey watching a movie on the couch.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I'm walking through and like we have like that cold stare of like if he gets up, we're fighting.
And mind
yeah.
you guys, again, this guy's like about 20 years older than you.
Yeah, close to.
Yeah. Or was he about the same age as your sister?
No, yeah, I was same age as my sister,
Yeah.
like 20 years older, yeah.
So you're like, what, 15, 13, and this dude's like...
Yeah, he's a grown-ass man.
43.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a grown-ass man.
But he took that like, okay, I'm gonna run this house because
In a sense, yeah, like he
was
took that role. Like it's very traditional, right? In the Mexican household, where it's like the man is the man of the house,
Right.
right? So I also spoke about it too on the seminar I did, where it's like these beliefs condition you.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you're immediately like that, like on you're living it, right? That's your example, living it. Wherever you go, you're gonna project that. 'Cause
Learned behavior.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so for me, like I learned that, and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna be around certain homies, and this is what I want to do. Right, and when I don't get my way, then I'm gonna push my way with either like words, with actions, or just violence. Right, so it's kind of fucked up because now, like when I have a girlfriend and she doesn't do what I say, like I'm gonna get aggressive just to get what I want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how you...
Yeah,
How you
because
learn.
yeah, 'cause
Conditions.
in the household you see it, right? So it's like the conditions, like the Mexican culture in itself. I'm not talking down on it. It's just women are to be submissive, right? Women are to clean and cook, right? Like there's certain positions and roles, but it's like when you grow up with it and you see like your immediate sister, you know, doing that, you're like, that's what I'm expecting from my partner.
Yeah, that's what's
you know,
normal.
I got blessed, but I saw both sides of that. My dad, he was always putting it in my head and showing me that, hey, you know, you help your partner out, because he was always helping my mom out. He never he had his job and stuff, but he came home and he helped clean, wash dishes, and he always put that in our head. But then I also saw it in, you know, in other couples, that traditional Mexican family where the wife stays home, she cleans, she does everything, she irons, all that shit.
Yeah.
The man doesn't help with shit. So I saw both sides of that, and I was able to judge that for myself.
And my sister worked, you know what I'm saying? So that to me, like growing up, I had a lot to say, right? But because you're so young, you know, like that's why I started throwing parties, right? Because a lot of it got thrown in my face where it was like, you're just a kid, you don't help out with the house, you have no word, right? You have no say in this, right? Let us figure it out. So once I started throwing parties and making money, like that was like my status, right? Like my recognition in the household.
Where would you throw the parties at?
Right here in Santana. Like,
But not at your house. Not
I
like
threw
not
some
with your
in my
mom.
house.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
threw some so we used to live in condominiums. Well, we first lived in a house when I was like in my early like developing years, you know, like from 3 to like, I want to say like maybe like 11, 10, you know, then we moved out to condominiums. From condominiums, I ended up getting a house. It was like a duplex. So I moved out with my mom because my sister made the choice to move out with him.
Oh, okay.
You know, so that was kind of like the catalyst where she left him, because when they moved out together, she came back home like at, I want to say like at 2 a.m, all fucked up, you know what I'm saying? Choked out, bruises.
Oh, yeah,
And I didn't want to let her back in, you know what I'm saying? Because when you're younger, you're very proudful, you know what I'm saying? And for me, I was like, I don't want you back in the house. Like you brought chaos and now we're living good. Even though I do my thing, nonetheless, like mom's taking care of.
I'll come back here. Man.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I was really drawing that line, but my mom had a lot of grace. You know what I'm saying? I think today I have a lot of grace because of my mom, the way she showed me that. But she like, she let her back in, you know, and then, you know, I didn't want to let her stay with us, you know, but she did eventually. She got the other room. And then 3 months later, this is where kind of everything kind of just stops, right? Where he shows up out of nowhere, and I mean, you speak Spanish, right?
A little bit, yeah.
So there's this phrase where it says like, oh, here's my eyes, right? Like, aquí están mis ojos, right? Like, here's my eyes, but it means like, this is somebody, right? Like, here, somebody's here. right? So she told me, "Oh, aquí están mis ojos," like my eyes are here, right? Like there's somebody here, basically, right? So then I was like,
Your sister said that? Or
no, my mom.
Okay.
My mom told me that her ex-husband was in her room.
I see.
Yeah, you know, but my mom had not made a commotion or made anything. She just waited for me to come home, you know? So then right away, like I fucking smashed on the door, and, you know, as soon as he comes out, like we start fighting or whatever. And I told him, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is your last straw. Like, this is not your house, you know, it's not your house anymore.
Basically making them feel like, hey, dude, you're not welcome here.
Exactly, yeah. And I was more grown, you know what I'm saying? I was more mature, so it was like, now I have the strength, you know what I'm saying? Back then, like, you maybe overpowered me a lot of times or whatever, but now it's like, full throttle, and I'm not alone no more, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm on the street, so I got homies now, you know what I'm saying? So I laid that to him, and I told him, you either leave and never come back, or like, shit's gonna happen, you know?
Right. Let me ask you this. So since, like, since I was talking about that whole thing about seeing both sides of those relationships, the traditional Mexican and the way that my dad taught me.
Co-partnership, yeah.
How do you feel about that? Like, I didn't agree with that whole traditional.
I mean,
but that was the norm for you.
Right? Because my mom was a single mom, you know. So the only example that I had, like, as far as like partnership, marriage, is like my godfathers, you know what I'm saying, and my godmother. Then I have my sister, and then like my aunts, and then probably friends of like the family, right? So then I seen those, but you only see like the highlights, you know what I'm saying? They're all good, dressed up good for a party. Like, you never know what happens in their household, right? So within our like Mexican culture, it's very traditional. Like, they say, like, you don't do dirty laundry anywhere else, you know what I'm saying? You keep everything private. Whatever happens at home stays at home. And it is what it is, right? So I get it, you know, that's a code, and it does protect your family.
Absolutely.
But sometimes it brings a lot of like pain and hurt, and it causes a lot of like chaos.
Lots of resentment.
Yeah, you know, a lot of things that are very.
Because with that code, I feel like that's the circle of the family. They won't talk about it amongst each other when it's very like, say if it's a very difficult conversation.
Yeah.
They'll take that code and misinterpret that for, like, you know, not.
They'll politic on it.
Not
for
opening
sure.
up on it.
Yeah.
And that healing won't.
Yeah, it never happens. You never have that opportunity to, you know? So for me, like, when I see the relationships that went on around me and how certain dynamics are healthy and not healthy, like when I was younger, all I knew was like what I seen daily. You know what I'm saying? Because even though I want to believe that there's something better, like what I'm seeing daily showed me that there's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, just that, like, even if I would think about it and be like, oh, like my girlfriend, you know, at that time, you know, it's like puppy love or whatever, and you're like, oh, you know, but then like you see this, and then like, oh, and then like you have friends, and like, oh man, like, doesn't she have a boyfriend? Like, what about mine? Like, you know what I'm saying? You start kind of like, you start getting like more hip to what happens and how it happens, and you're like, yeah, I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? For me, I ran away from commitment.
Confusing.
Yeah, I ran away from commitment for a long time because of that. And
you gotta think, like, sometimes it's like, man, is it really like this? Like,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and I didn't want to have that commitment, you know, which led me to like making choices that were hurting other women. You know what I'm saying? As far as like they would love me, you know, want to be with me, and I'm like, oh, cool.
But
I'm not emotionally invested, you know?
Yeah. Were you also doing, like, projecting what you had seen at home with your
yes
sister?
and no, because for a long time, because my brother-in-law, he would hit my sister. For me, it was like that big I and little you, right? That little short measurement, right? Of like, I'm different than you by this much because I don't hit him. But that's enough for me to make myself feel better.
But you still used like aggression, the threats, maybe just verbal,
verbal aggression, even sometimes like the physical, like, oh, get off of me, I'm leaving, or like the abandonment and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that was the thing, like, he would leave, but he wouldn't leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was one of those where my sister would go find him at a bar. Like, I just told my girlfriend, right? I was like, babe, like, it gave me this flashback, right? Of like, my sister would go wake me up like at 2-3 in the morning and be like, hey, we gotta go find this fool, right? Yeah. And I used to live right here in downtown. I grew up right here in downtown. That's why I know like all these shops, you know? And I went over, boom, and it's from 4th Street and like French, right? Because it's around right there, all the way to like Grand, because they have like this little Mexican bar right there, you know? We walked all of that, like at 2, 3 in the morning, you know, getting to the bar right before it ends to find him. And he's over there smacking up with like some other girl. And
Oh,
my sister's
hell
like,
no.
Yeah, and my sister's trying to pull him off. And then the security guards are getting in. And like, I'm waiting at the door, but I'm coming in because the chaos is happening, you know what I'm saying? And
I'm worried about your sister.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So all this shit is happening, and it's like, I would just remember that, right? Where I'm like, he was so manipulative, you know what I'm saying, on certain things. Like, he stole a lot of like rent money. We were on rent. Like, we were behind for months, you know, for months. Like, it was so much of a struggle. But for me, it was like, I'm different than him, you know, because I don't do that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like, my partners, I wasn't taking them serious. You know, I was hurting them. I was lying to them, manipulating them. You know, I never got to the point of like hitting them, but it didn't make me no different. Like, I still became an alcoholic. You know what I'm saying? I still became a drug addict. Like, I got involved in some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just things that for me at that point in time were like, oh, well, because I'm doing this, I'm different.
Yeah.
But like the same behaviors, even like when somebody disrespects me, I act the same way, you know what I'm saying? I respond.
Similar, not the same.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like the mannerisms, you know, like even head bumping, like even when I fight, like he used to fuck me up with his head, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'd be trying to hold his hand and I still do that.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So
That's
it
crazy.
just, yeah, so it's like little things that are learned behaviors.
Yeah.
Right? And it's very hard to shake off. Like, it's super hard because those are the first things that you learn. So you have to challenge them and dig deep to the roots.
That's right.
You know? So for me, that's kind of how I was like very like off the handle. You know, once my mom passed away, I was just like completely off the handle. Like I didn't know how to manage those emotions, you know, because grief is very heavy to accept. And once you feel like that pain, it's like very difficult to like even enjoy anything. You know what I'm saying? Like everything's so dark where it's like everybody in the room is laughing but me.
Yeah.
I know exactly.
You know what I mean? And when it's happening, like for me, especially in the beginning, right? Because my sister and I had clashed. You know, especially because she was projecting like this coldness and I didn't know how to like be receptive to it at that time. You know what I'm saying? I get it. She was trying to save face for like the family and whoever. But for me, it was like, you haven't shed a tear, you know, but in the Mexican tradition, like you don't show weakness.
But she was trying to be strong.
Yeah, in a
through
sense,
it all,
right?
and like
But for me, it was kind of like because one of the I don't want to call it like a sour moment, but one of the moments that kind of like made me and her kind of clash. Like I was in my mom's room, you know what I'm saying, and my mom had this. She used to have a DVD and like this. I don't know if you guys remember the brand Toshiba.
Yeah.
Toshiba? Yeah. So there was like this little box TV, right? And the DVD she has, and DVDs back in the days used to play CD players, right? For all those new
or laser disc. Okay, I'm gonna.
the new gen, right? So
or when you can put the fucking DVD in the PlayStation.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
yeah, no. The Blu-rays, you know? Yeah. So but my mom's DVD, she had a lot of CDs, but she'll play music, you know? She had it hooked up or whatever. And I play the CD that's in there, and these songs like they're coming up, you know, because I grew up to them. That's what she like used to listen to, you know. So I was like, fuck, like. So I just got there and I was in my feels, and like I started crying, and I didn't know that my sister was in the other room. You know, I thought she had gone to work or whatever, you know, because she was consistently working. As my mom was kind of deteriorating, she was always working. Okay. So that's why me and her would clash, because it was like you're
not here.
Yeah, you're letting me like take care of all of this, right? Like I'm my mom's nurse 24/7. Like she sleeps, I sleep, she eats, I eat. And then one of the things that like I was confusing for me right at that time, because I would cook for my mom. And then because she was like high on meds and like easily like very irritable, you know, like get frustrated, she'll throw the food on the ground and like it'll be a mess. I'm over there cleaning it. And then I'm trying not to be angry, but it's like, hey, like I just spent like an hour cooking for you. Like, why? Right? And no answers. And my mom, like, she became unrecognizable. You know what I'm saying? Like she just changed from like this happy lady that was like always, you know, friendly, watering her garden, you know, talking to the flowers and all this shit, and then to like just being completely like cold, segregated, wanting the door shut all the time. It's the only time she would call me was like, hey, clean me, I took a shit, or I need a shower, or feed me.
She was going
you
through
know?
it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it was like a lot of like those things that it's confusing when you're so young. You know, because you see everybody around you, you know what I'm saying? They have their parents, you know, they have both parents. Their parents have cars, you know. My family don't even have a car. Until I got a car, we got a car. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a lot of things that were happening where it's like so confusing. And I'm still trying to have a teenage life, which is like I'm throwing parties and I'm showing up, but everybody's having fun, but nobody knows.
You're putting on a smile, but really,
Yeah.
Dude, I completely I relate, man, because my mom passed away when I was 11. So it was very confusing.
from cancer
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've seen all of that. But how long was that period of like that you had to witness your sister going through this relationship and dealing with her before you ended up? Was it like 5 years? Like,
So it was like when I was like 11 to like 18.
Oh,
so like
okay,
a good,
yeah.
like 7 years.
so at this point when he had come back into that house before the day you were about to tell us, that was like you're 18 at this point and you're like,
So
get
yeah,
out,
I had just turned 18. Like, I think I was about to turn 18. Like I was still 17 or something. Because, no, I had already turned 18 because like 4 months after, that's when my mom passed away. You know, so it's like I at that time, the way that I seen it was like I was blaming my sister, where I was like, "You're the reason why she died." You know what I'm saying? Because you put her through all this stress. You know, all the times like when him and I would get into it, she was the one that was kind of dragging me out of the way. You know,
Yeah.
or like creating space. You know, so I can kind of get my breath back, or like, you know, if I'm bleeding or whatever, clean myself up. Like, she went through a lot. You know, and also too, like the thing that was always like in my head at that time was like, you had the choice to leave them and then you still never left them. You know, we were always at odds with them, but then like you're over here lovey-dovey, going to dinners, coming back. Like I became a witness of a firsthand like toxic relationship, you know? And it wasn't like, oh, they would fight like once a month. It was like daily.
Constant.
Yeah, like fucking fighting over like the dumbest shit, like who turned on the stove, right?
Fuck it.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's getting hot. Who turned on the stove? Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember it was my 15th birthday, right? And this wanted me to clean the bathroom before I left, but I was already all dressed up. Well, I thought I was all dressed up. Cause, you know, yeah, you know.
You're 15 going on 21, man.
Yeah, so, and we got into it, you know, our birthday, we fucking got into it. And that weekend, my mom was out in Vegas, you know, she was out in Vegas with my aunt. So I ran away for the whole weekend, and when she came back, like my mom was like, "Hey, like what happened?" And I was like, "Well, I just don't want to go back home because we're gonna get into it, you know."
Yeah.
And yeah, and she was like, "Oh, I'm here, come home, yada yada." So I came home, and then like my mom had a gift for me, you know. She had a gift for me. She gave me it's like well, I mean now you have like cameras or whatever, but back then you used to have like the little cassette video cameras. Yeah, so she got me a video cassette camera because I told her, you know what I'm saying, like I throw a lot of parties and this is how I'm making money, you know what I'm saying, like I'm working at the Orange County Fair, but I come up at the fair and I set it at the parties, you know what I'm saying? Like that was like my thing, right? So
Wait, hold on. Sorry to interrupt you, but real quick, did you end up cleaning the bathroom or not?
no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we got into a fight. I remember he
you're like,
threw
no,
me
not doing it.
Yeah, he threw me a Windex, right? He was like, "Oh, clean this shit," right? And I caught it in midair and I threw it right back at him.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because I was on my
yeah.
way out and I was like, what the fuck? Like, and I was like, why, right? And one of the things about like Mexican culture, like when they want to double down or whatever, they'll be like, "Oh, por mis huevos," right? Like because of my balls or whatever, right? Like this, what it translates to. And it's like basically saying like, "Oh, I'm forcing you, I don't give a fuck, you're gonna do as I say."
Yeah.
Right? So for me, I was like, fuck no, fool. Like, who do you think you are? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, fuck this, you know? And then we got into it, you know, and not that time, but another time similar, right? Because like I would go out on the weekends and then I was a troubled teen. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was a troubled teen, and my sister, her way of like controlling things was like, I'm gonna call the cops on you because you're not listening. It's like, if I'm not listening to you or this fool, like, what makes you think I'm gonna listen to the cops? You know what I'm saying? So, but whatever. I mean, they will do what they do, and then like one of those days, she tried to call the cops. So I was like, fuck it. I mean, if they're gonna come, I'm not here. I don't care, you know. So I'm leaving. So I get into this elevator, and this fool runs downstairs. You know, he runs downstairs, and he starts dragging me up there. You know, so me and him start getting at it, but he's like dragging me back into the house, right? So the neighbors kind of come out or whatever, and when he's stepping inside the house, like I just charge, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I fucking spear the fuck out of him. Boom, and he drops. And this is kind of like one of the first times that I'm like getting like the
Standing
upper
up
hand.
for yourself.
Not standing up for myself, but like getting the upper hand.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because he would always kind of like fuck me up. But it was like we still, we went at it, you know. And this time I'm kind of like getting the upper hand. And I remember I'm on top of him, and my sister hits me.
What?
She protected him, you know. And then like I remember like I get all mad as fuck and I tell her like, you're really gonna fucking like defend this piece of shit that fucks you up,
Yeah.
you know? And then she didn't know what to say, right? And then I was like, just fucking let me leave, you know? And I remember I spat at him. That was the first time I spat at him. I spat at him many times after, but that was like the first time that I fucking
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Dropped it on him. Yeah,
That's
I fucking
right.
dropped it on him, you know? And then when he tried to get up, I kicked him and I took off, right? I took off. And then he had a, like, this was the thing, right? This is why I said it was so dysfunctional, right? Because the day after when I came back, he sat me down and he was like, you know, I'm sorry, but like, you know, that's very brave and courageous. You always got to let yourself, like, you know, defend yourself and yada, yada. Like, I'm very proud of you. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, you're not my dad, fool. I don't give a fuck. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, and then he was like,
What?
oh, I don't want to fight with you no more. So he kind of like drew that line of respect, but we always kept going at it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And for me, I was like, fool, like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? You know? And
Trying to manipulate you too.
yeah, in a sense, right? But that also too, like, extends to like actions that I did in the future too, right? Where it's like, I fucked up, I'm not gonna take accountability, but because you stood up, I'm gonna give you a pat on the back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now you're looking for my validation, even though like you defeated me in some way, some form.
Yeah,
Nonetheless,
yeah.
you're still gonna look for my validation. Here's a pat on the back.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's how it affected me in the long run, right? And then eventually, like I said, I mean, I was so broken that I had 3 baby mamas. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I was broken, like just trying to find that love, like that affection, like that my mom used to give me, like in multiple women, you know, different places, you know, and it's now I'm in recovery, right? I've been sober 10 years and 6 months.
Yay!
Yeah, you know,
Fuck
what?
yeah!
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so when it comes down to my behaviors, right, and really like breaking it down, right, to like what it was, I was going crazy, right, as far as like the drugs, the alcohol, like me being slumped over, getting super drunk, not caring. Like, even though it seemed like fun from somebody in the inside, like, oh, hey, we're all getting along and we're having this fucking time of our lives, from the outside, it's like I was in fucking pain and I was trying to numb myself, you know, and I didn't have like the strength to be like, hey, I need help. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm going through the worst fucking time of my life and I get it. I have so many responsibilities that I got to do what I got to do. But nonetheless, like, all of this, regardless of what I get, what I have, or what I don't, is not fulfilling, you know, and I didn't know how to communicate that. You know, I like I said, I mean, I lied to women so many times. Like, I hurt so many women, you know, because I had real genuine people who like cared for me and wanted the best for me, but I was just like, it's a come up for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you're in that mindset, you're just selfish. Yeah, very selfish. And that's where I was at that time. And you know, on my baby shower day, you know, I drank and fucked up. You know, I ran a red light and I killed an 18-year-old.
Did you?
Yeah.
Dang.
That's how I went to prison.
Day of the baby shower.
Yes.
Powerful, bro.
Well, why? Well, okay. So, on your baby shower, you're from your third baby, second. Well,
My
okay.
third, yeah.
The last. Okay.
Wait, how
And you
long
went-
have you been sober? I'm sorry.
10 years and 6 months.
10 years and 6 months, you guys.
Yeah.
Sorry to.
But like, okay, you just got so fucked up. Did you get in an argument? Like, I mean, this is your baby shower. You have friends and
So-
family. Like,
so
it's
there
a
was-
celebration.
So when you're an alcoholic, right? Like, anything is a moment, right, for celebration. Like, oh,
You
it's
can find an
the
excuse to
sun's out.
celebrate. Yeah. Sun's out.
Yeah, the sun's out. We're drinking. You know, somebody got a new car. We're drinking. The Dodgers lost. We're drinking. You know, Dodgers won. We're drinking. There's really no reason to, right?
Saturday.
Yeah, you know. So for me, like, just overall, like, that specific day, we're drinking just because. You know what I'm saying? And I left just because too.
Really?
You know, it wasn't like, oh, well, I mean, the intent was to go get more drinks.
Okay.
But I'm saying, like, I just left where it was like, well, fuck it, I'll be back.
Yeah, no,
And-
yeah, I'm
yeah.
like, look, please elaborate. Give us that, like, you know, okay, you're around people, but okay, I get it. Now you need to go on a beer run. Let's get some more.
Pretty
We're
much.
not done
yeah.
yet. We're not
Yeah.
done partying yet.
I'm gonna go do me.
Yeah.
That's.
Did you not tell anybody? We're just like,
No, so I mean, I had passengers with me. you
Oh,
know? Yeah, I
okay.
had at that time my ex's wife's sisters were with me and her cousin. Yeah, and I was speeding.
and they let you drive.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody was fucked up then.
I mean, in a sense, it's like how do I say it? Like, you're not conscious, right? When you're in that environment, when you're constantly like around certain people, you condone it.
And you're around those people. Oh no, it's okay. Whoever
I can drive.
Anybody, we're all good.
Yeah, because you done it so many times,
Yeah.
right? Like that's one of the things when I went to board, like it was like I did it so many times that I felt safe, right? And that's that self-deception, right? Where it's like, oh, it's not gonna happen to me. It happened to so and so. Like, what an idiot! It's not gonna happen to me.
Right.
Doesn't know what
Right.
he's doing.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Right. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of what happened where I was like, oh, I got this. I'm in control, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of like the main root of addiction, right? You feel and you think you're in control.
They call that super optimism.
Especially after
Exactly.
you've been getting
Yeah.
away with stuff so
Yeah,
long. Yeah.
behavioral
Yeah.
patterns and you
You're
have
untouchable.
affirmations. Yeah, you have affirmations because the results are in your favor, right? So you have that false belief of evidence that you're like, oh, it's going to happen again in my favor. The gambler's fucking addiction,
Yeah.
right? So nonetheless, that's what happened, and everybody wasn't. I'm not saying they were wrong or anything because that's their choice, right? They trusted me, and I abused that trust when it comes really down to the root of it. But nonetheless, like when I took off, like I still put their lives in jeopardy, speeding, swerving, cutting lanes, running red lights, and then eventually on one of the lights that I try to run, I T-boned somebody. Yeah.
The other person was by themselves, the 18-year-old?
So it was 3 passengers in that vehicle.
And
Yeah.
when was this?
This was October 25th, 2014.
2014. But so the other 2 survived and only one of them passed. Yeah.
Yeah. They got like great bodily injuries, which is like GBIs,
Right. Yeah.
And you? How about you? Everybody? Any other passengers in your
So
car?
my passengers also too as well because it was like like I said, I T-boned and then we kind of spinned, so everybody who was in the car kind of shook, right? And then some had seatbelts, some didn't, but it's not like your normal position. It's like with the impact and then the whiplash and then the movement and momentum, like you go all over the place. For me, when I hit the impact, I passed out.
Did you?
Yeah, the whole
The airbag?
Yeah, they deployed it and I passed out and I woke up and the smell, the smell of like burnt oil, you smell like the gasoline,
Yeah.
all the windows are broken, like everything's like I have like this
You walk
hard
up to the scene.
yeah, I have like this like not pain, but like kind of like a laceration because of the seatbelt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My shirt's all bloody, afterwards, like 2 days after when I was like already like in the loop going to like the housing units, the whole side of like all this was like purple. The back of my head was all purple just because of the impact, you know what I'm saying?
Going bam, bam.
Yeah, a lot of things, right? Like it just, when I think about it, it's like, fuck, like it happened so fast, but that one decision just led to like complete chaos that still to this day, like impacts a family. There's an empty chair because of my stupidity, which is like the root of also to like my sobriety,
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy. So at that moment, you're waking up and you're like, what the hell just happened? I'm sure at this point you're like, can I take it all back? Did you ever have that thought like,
So-
how do I make, this is all a nightmare. You're waking up and it's like, I can't believe it. Because you
Yeah.
didn't believe it before it happened. Obviously, you're going through the motions like normal. And then all of a sudden, just like, your fucking life just changed in an instant.
Yeah. So yes and no, right? Like at first it's kind of like, fuck, like what happened, right? And I'm making sure that all my passengers are good, so I'm trying to get them out of the car because for me, like my fear is that it's going to blow up, especially because I'm smelling gas.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't want this to burst up in flames. Like my mentality at that time was like, I want to go back to the baby shower, and because it was my duty to clean up everything, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I just don't want to get into it, like, with my baby moms or whatever. And so I was like, I got to see who's hurt or what's happening, So the cops came in because it was in front of a hospital. The ambulance was already there, the whole community came out. So it was like a big old thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, like, so I get them out, I sit them down or whatever. And then the cops, they basically like, hey, who's driving? Like, oh, I was driving. They do the whole sobriety test. I wasn't sober, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't also too like belligerent where it's like, I'm passed out. Like I wasn't like that. Like I was conscious, but I fucked up, you know what I'm saying? Like my decisions led me to that. So when I was like processing everything, I hear like cries, I hear things like, people are like agitated at one end, right? So I'm kind of like, what's happening, you know? And they don't want to tell me, you know, the cops don't want to tell me, you know, they don't want to tell me nothing. So they're like, oh, you know, you're going to be going to the station, yada, yada. They could bail you out, so on and so forth. Cool. So I get in the car, you know, the unit, once I get to the police station, they take me into this room, and that's where they tell me, like, hey, like, you killed somebody, you know? And then I was like,
Oh,
oh.
they already, they died at the scene?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And they hadn't told you?
Yeah, they hadn't told me until I got to the station, and they told me that. And then I thought it was like a scare tactic too. You know what I'm saying? Where I was like,
to get you to tell.
Yeah, because you're in disbelief, you know what I'm saying? You're in disbelief. We're like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't do all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not my intent. Like, my intent was just like, you know, to fuck around and drive, and then I hit somebody, cool. Like, I'll take responsibility, but not all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's also true, like, the self-deception of, like, you're not measuring your consequences, right? With every action. Like,
anything can happen.
Yeah, you only see it so far, but you don't see, like, all the way to the end.
Right.
No, and that's why I always say, dude, don't wait for something bad to happen like I did.
Yeah.
Because you might not come back from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it changed my life, most definitely. You know?
Yeah.
It changed my life. And I went through the whole loop, you know. The loop, at first, they had charged me with manslaughter, you know. So I'm like, hey, bail me out. 15? No, so manslaughter was only 7 to 11.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it was vehicular manslaughter, you know. So I remember going through. I actually went to the hospital from the station. They took me to the hospital because I started getting bad pains, like on my rib, because everything started coming, right. Like the pain.
Once
like
the alcohol wore off.
That and the adrenaline, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
I was already kind of feeling pain, and I passed out or whatever, and they took me to the hospital. I'm there overnight, and I remember the cop wakes me up, and he's like, "Hey, that's you." Right, I'm on TV. Yeah, I'm on the news. Yeah, I'm all cuffed up to the little, you know, the bed or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, you know. So then they take me to the loop, and then the cops are talking shit. You know, they're telling me, oh, this is the dude, this is the guy, right? He's not gonna get out till he's like 50 or 60. Yeah. Like, oh, bro, you fucked up, you know, yada yada. I remember one of the nurses was talking shit, you know. And I was so irritated,
dude,
you know?
That shit happened to me too.
Oh, the nurses, right?
No, not even the nurses, like the cops talking shit. Like when I'm going through booking and everything, they just want to like fucking tease you and shit.
Yeah, like instigate it, you know? And I remember one of the nurses was talking shit, and I told the cop, like, hey, look, man, like, I'm about to fucking fuck this bitch up. Just get her out of my face, you know? Yeah. And he was like, oh yeah, da-da-da. And then I remember he bent me over because I was fucked up. My whole body was fucked up, you know? But he was like, oh, like, let me search you type of thing, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, bend over. And I was like, I can't bend over. And he just fucking pushes me all the way down. Yeah, like I was like fucked up. Yeah, you know, I was like,
I couldn't stand that. I would talk shit back till they beat my ass.
That's just getting my fucking blood boiling right now.
I would talk shit.
Yeah, but I was fucked up, you know. And then going up, and then once I went up, like I was under the impression that I was gonna get bailed out. You know, I was so like, okay, cool, it's manslaughter, have bail, let's fucking get it done, right? And then once like 24 hours go by or whatever, I already had been one day at the hospital, and then the next day in the loop. So it was already time for me to go to CJ1, which is like the arraignment court right here in Orange County. So when I go to the arraignment court, I already have a lawyer set up and all that, you know? So I thought I was gonna get bailed out. So I'm not really tripping on anything. I just showered, and I'm like, hey, I'm dipping, you know? Told the homies, hey, just give me a bar of soap, and then like a little rag or whatever, and I'll be done, you know? Like, I don't really need anything else. Just like, let me fucking shower and I'm gone. So then nothing happens, right? Then, and I don't get bailed out. They call my name for CJ1. I go downstairs, and when I go downstairs, my attorney tells me, hey, like, Herbs, they're charging you with fucking murder. Like, they got bumped up to murder because I had signed the Watson agreement. You know?
That?
So the Watson agreements, when you get a DUI, like, it clearly says on there, right? If you were to kill anybody under the influence, you will be charged with murder. It's like bluntly stated on there, you know? But when you're younger, you know, you just kind of don't give a fuck. You're just like, get me out of here, right? Like, you don't see the fine print, you know? So that's kind of how it affected me in the long term of like fighting that case. And then I got a life sentence behind that. So I'm a former lifer, you know? Yeah, so they gave me, actually took a deal, right? It's as much as people be like, it's not a deal. Like, I took accountability, you know, and that 15 to life was the plea deal that I took.
Yeah, because you were facing
29 to life.
Yeah, people don't understand that, dude. That's fucking, you know, depending on what it is and what you're looking at, and then people see that you get like 8, 9, 10 years to, you know, and you're facing fucking life. People don't understand, dude. That's fucking love right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and then,
So that was it. But that was part of your super optimism too. You're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be out of here. Oh yeah, they're gonna be on me. Yeah, no problem. And then all of a sudden you're like,
not to sound like callous on it, right? But I feel like at that time it was like, okay, like we'll deal with it. But I feel like I was so caught up like in my own pity party, right? That my mind and my body didn't allow me to project like full empathy. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, oh, like, what about me? The baby shower, the baby's on the way. Like, and even though I feel fucked up in a certain way where it's like, fuck, like, I didn't want to do that. Like, and then I found out that I knew him too. You know what I'm saying? Which was like even more devastating, right?
really?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
The plot thickens. Man.
Yeah. So that was a difficult pill, like, to swallow. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like I have to accept that, right?
Were you close to them?
I wasn't so close to him, but like that was a cool homie.
From
Yeah.
School or
basically the party scene, you know?
okay.
Yeah. Friends within friends, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So it was a lot, you know what I'm saying, at that time. But
I would imagine.
I mean, now I can feel full emotion for it, you know what I'm saying? But at the time, it's like there's so much happening. And then prison or county jail is not the space for you to like really reflect. You know what I'm saying? Like it is, but not in a way where you're gonna tap into your emotions.
Right, not at all.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
Because,
you're still
like,
in defense mode and
yeah, because as homies, it's kind of like, fool, like, it's like they tell you, right? Like, hey, like, you want an envelope? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, for what? Like, it's like a feeling time, fool, you know?
You do that? You do that envelope?
Yeah, you know?
I fucking forgot about that one.
Or they'll be like, oh, you know, fucking, they'll be like, oh,
write your fucking tears up in here, dog.
Yeah, when there be like, you know, the box, right, which is like the cuerno, the phone. They'll be
stress
like,
box.
Yeah, the stress box. You know, all that fucking. And then the homies would be like, oh, you didn't lose your girl, you lost your churn. Fool, chill. Yeah, you know, she'll come visit you on Saturday. You know, after waking up at that fool's house, like it just
don't get her name tag.
Yeah, you know.
You won't get her back.
Yeah, you know, all kinds of shit. But it's you learn right there and then, right, that it's like if you show any type of emotion, it's gonna get poked, right? If you're like feeling some type of like empathy, right, like others are gonna talk down on it and be like, because I had homies tell me like, fool, like, fuck it happened, you know what I'm saying, like, you can't change it, you know. But there's some homies that just bury it, like they don't address it, they don't talk about it. It's like they see it as a stamp of validation, right? Where it's like, oh, I got to strike now. Cause
this OG told me, dude, he's all, and it stuck with me for like, and I'm glad I heard it the first time I got there. Forget about everything. Forget about your family. Forget about everything. You survive up in here.
Yeah.
Don't worry about anything else. And I was like, okay. No, for real, it stuck with me, dog. I totally forgot about the outside world.
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, it took me a minute, right? Because it's like, I was living a certain way, right? And when everything's good, there's going to be people around you know?
Of course.
You know,
Only when
and when things get bad, you start seeing people change, shift, like walk away, or kind of just tap in like every now and then, right? But when you're, I mean, now I can understand, like, it's not their burden to stay with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, like I brought this upon myself. You know, like, it's not like, oh, hey, you're supposed to write this out with me and do all this shit because we're loyal. Like, it just doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? It's human nature.
You kind of die, you know.
Well,
yeah. So
to the people out there.
Yeah. So that's where I was going with it, right? So birthdays, you know, I used to hate them. Now I'm a little bit more open to them, you know. But my first birthday, a bunch of letters, right? My second birthday, half of those letters. By my third birthday, it was like maybe like $20 on, you know, my canteen, and maybe one or two like birthday like cards, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? Like, slowly but surely, I became a memory. you know, where it was like, oh, remember these times, you know, the phone calls, because in the county they're 45 minutes, right? So you call somebody and they could pay for the 45 minutes or whatever time they want to pay, you know? But there was like no new memories were being created. And even when they came to visit me, it was always about the past.
Less and less to talk about too.
Yeah, exactly. Like it just kind of like they have more going on where I'm like doing more of the questioning. And then they just kind of like tell me about their day. And it's like, oh, what did you do? Oh, same old shit. You know, I woke up, drank some coffee, worked out, bird bath, fucking read like 40, 50 pages, worked out again, showered, went to, you know, had my little spread with the homies. Now I'm reading and then I'm calling you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then the end of the night, I'm going to be drawing or whatever. Because I'm also an artist, you know? But just at the end of the day, like it became so repetitive, right? So repetitive that when I would go to court, like this is what affected me the most, like in retrospect, right? Because I had a prep when I went to board, but it was like, you slowly die, you know what I'm saying? And people who see you in the county and know that you're facing life, they embrace you in a way of like, they're accepting it themselves and force you in a sense to accept it yourself that you're done, you're washed up. Because the homies will tell you when you're facing life, it's, oh, fool, you're washed up. Like, you're never getting out, perrito, you know, and they'll give you like a hug or whatever, you know? And people that I knew from the streets that I was seeing either at court or in the chow hall, they would like be like, damn, boy, suerte, you know, good luck or whatever. Or they'll give me a hug. Excuse me, those that would come in the actual like dorm, like they'll come in and be like, fuck, fool, you know, and they'll give me a longest hug. And I'm like, I'm not dead yet, fool, you know what I'm saying? Like, I still got action, but it's like, that subconsciously fucks with you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they looked at you like that because they knew they was getting out on one day, you know? Yeah, like just...
Yeah, and it's a fucked up feeling because they do it with the well intent, you know what I'm saying? But subconsciously, you're kind of like, fuck, like, might be true, I'm never getting out. You know what I'm saying? So when that gavel hits the wood and it's like, oh, you're sentenced for life, like that's one of the most like excruciating, painful moments in my life.
Yeah.
Aside from my mom dying, that day was like so fucking hurtful, you know?
Yeah.
Like it was like I came back and I was like, I'm done. Like I'm fucking done.
Yeah,
you know
when dudes would tell me that, I would just take it like normal conversation. You know, I wouldn't do that. You know, I wouldn't like put that extra on it. Like, damn, fool, you're washed up. Damn, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I just be like, fuck, okay, like, you know.
But these are people I knew too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. But like, I don't know. I wouldn't.
No, that's hard.
I wouldn't. Yeah. I wouldn't carry that conversation. You know what I mean? I'd be like, fuck, okay.
Well, there's, I mean, it's like the implied rule, right? Where it's like, if you're not facing life, like, it's kind of rude when you talk about the streets when there's, you know what I'm saying?
True, yeah.
Because I've had incidents where, one of my homies too, he's out here now.
Or if you're short, don't be talking about that shit.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like if you're short, don't be talking about it. Don't be saying like, oh, what you're gonna do, you know, like, it's like there's fools right here that are facing life and it's like, you're facing life, like, Spencer, you know what I'm saying? Like, just, you know, keep it to a minimum. But when it comes down to seeing how other people will react to it, it started becoming like a confirmed belief for me, right?
Yeah.
Where it was like, oh, like don't talk like that around me because now I'm in this bubble too.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
The reality's...
Yeah, kind of, yeah, you know, where it's like, oh, I don't want to hear it because like, even though I should be mad at myself, like I'm mad at this person that's talking about what life is gonna be like.
Stop reminding me that I'm fucking in there. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you sit on that like self-pity, right? Like that emotional turmoil of like having a very difficult time and you start believing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like to me at that point in time, there was really no hope. It was like, fuck it, I'm full throttle. Like I'm already about to get washed up because they're not giving you no action with no deals, no nothing, you know? They want to take it to the box. And I'm like, if I take it to the box, it's 29 years to life. Where am I going to take 15? You know, I'm on that predicament because it's the worst or the lesser one. You know what I'm saying? Which one do you want? And I remember my attorney, he told me like, he's like, Herb's like, I just don't want you to be this dude, you know, that goes to the box, you know, gets sentenced 29 years to life and then does 15. And then reflects that you could have gone to board on your 15th year and because of your pride, you didn't. You know, sit on that and let me know tomorrow what you want to do. You know, and yeah, I mean, I made my phone calls, I did what I had to do. And then I came to the conclusion, like, you know what, let's take it. I'm gonna run with it, you know, and whatever comes out of it, then comes out of it, you know?
Yeah.
How much time did you do in the county before they transferred?
So it was like two years and like 6 months, 7 months, like two and a half.
Fighting.
Yeah. I was fighting that, and then it was like very rocky, you know what I'm saying? Because when you're going to court, you're hoping for some type of like, you know, some type of answer, you know, some type of like, hey, you know, we have like, you know, an offer, like, you know, this DA is kind of contemplating, and, you know, and all these cards were supposedly shot, you know, me being young, right? Me being a father to be, like some type of like sympathy, right?
Yeah.
And or any type of like mercy, right? And none of that was accepted, right?
And then you also see like some of the love that some of these fools get that are looking at a lot of time.
Yeah.
Not necessarily life, but you see some of these fools.
Oh yeah.
You know, and
taking their stories and like
kind of get some hope.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen with you too.
Yeah. That's why you extend it. You push it all the way to the line. You know what I'm saying? Until you go to the box. And I get it. I mean, I understand the process now, but at that time I felt like a victim too. You know what I'm saying? Where I was like, why is all these people getting, you know, love and then I'm not? Right? But that was already a mentality that I had, you know what I'm saying? From like my mom being sick, and then why does everybody have like their mom that's all healthy, young, you know, and my mom's older.
Poor
you know?
me, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that is not only like a mindset that takes you directly to like chaos, but it creates a lot of chaos around you. You know what I'm saying? And it took me years to discover that, to like really pluck that root out and be like, fuck, like I had that fucked up mindset, you know, because in prison, like it's not a free for all, you know what I'm saying? Because you're under a certain structure, but when it's time to act, like if you don't give a fuck, you're not gonna hesitate. You know what I'm saying? And for me,
jump.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like the homies who told you, like, oh, like jump, like how high? You know what I'm saying? Like just tell me where. You know what I'm saying? Like how and to, and that's it. You know. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like when I kind of came to like understanding the whole process of it, one of the OGs, like I got a lot of love from, because he would challenge me, right? Where it was like, you have 15 to life. You know, everybody else has 45 to life, 70 to life, 80 to life. You know, triple L WAPs, double L WAPs, you know, in that building, the reception building that I went to, you know, and he was like, you have an opportunity to go home and you're young, fool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you get your shit right, you could probably go home. You know, now's the time, because I went up in 2017, right? So
that's a good example of a good leader.
But,
in there, dude.
yeah.
Too many of them, bro.
Oh, yeah, no, and he was a good OG, you know?
Yeah.
And he taught me, like, black and white is what matters, you know what I'm saying? Like, we run our program on black and white, and the system does too. You know, so if you're not going to classes and you want to walk up in there and talk a whole good cha-cha, like, oh, I'm a changed man because of yada yada, they don't give a fuck. They want to see the consistency of classes. They want to see the consistency of like how you've done the work. What can you point out that was like pivotal in your young years? And what is it that you can point out now? What's your tools to disrupt that, interrupt that, or to change the complete mindset or behavior?
Yeah.
Right? Like, how are you going to connect all that?
They're not privy to just, oh yeah, I'm changed man.
Yeah.
But at what point did you actually shift that mindset of yours?
So, I mean, it took
just
time. No, I mean, it took time. Yeah. So for me, I kind of got the quick gist, right? Where it's like, hey, this is what it is. Because I'm in reception, so there's literally like no classes except for like GED, and it's like I wasn't even interested in GED at the time. I was like, "Fuck no, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna take no school for what? You know? Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, now I go to Cal State Fullerton. You know, I'm working on my degree, but it's like at that time I was like, I don't give a fuck about school. Like I could read. You know what I'm saying? I got good comprehension. Like what I need school for if I'm gonna be in here. You know, I'm more interested on the other fun things, right? So the fun things meaning like the bullshit, right? So I end up going to, I get valley fever, and then I get placed at Wasco A yard.
Okay.
So it was like a medical hold. Right. So they just transfer me over to the other yard. So I'm there, I'm chilling, you know, meet some people, do my thing, whatever. And then they put me in the, at that time it was called SAP, which is a substance abuse program.
Right.
Now it's called ISUT or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Integrated Substance something program, right? Drug treatment or some shit. But
it's supposed to give you like time off, isn't it?
Yeah, so it does give you time off. So when I was in reception, I qualified for Prop 57.
Okay.
So Prop 57 from my 15 to life made it automatically 12 years and a half.
Okay.
So they knocked down like a bunch of time, right? And I remember I had a celly, right? He was like, "Fool, I haven't seen you smile since you got here."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, fool, you're always fucking serious." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "What was that smirk?" Yeah, because you know, like when you're in reception, I don't know if it's like you go. Well, I was in D1, right, which is right there in Wasco. So you go downstairs and you pick up your mail, and then you go back up. You know, when you're getting your tray for your dinner, basically they hand you the mail like, "Hey, fucking so and so," right? So I'm getting the mail, and when I'm getting the mail, like I open it, right, and I'm like walking with my tray, and I'm opening and I'm reading it, and it says, "Oh, qualified for Prop 57, new release date," right, and it had chunky.
Oh, the letters.
Yeah, you know,
yeah,
because it's it's an inside one, so you gotta unfold it.
Yeah.
You know? You gotta unfold it. So I did that, right? I unfolded it or whatever, and I was like, "Damn, I have a new release date," right? So I was like, "Fuck," but I mean, I have life, so it's like I get it, right? But it's just like it's chunking down. So when my celly brought it up, I was like, "Fool, like I don't know if this is for me or not," but he's like, "Oh yeah, Prop 7 for you qualify, lifers, blah blah blah, whatever," right? And I was like, "All right, cool." So then when I got to A yard, I kind of asked around, and I was like, "Hey, like they put me in this program, like, do I get milestones?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Is it real?" They're like, "Yeah, fool, they'll take them off."
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? Because Wasco, you know, level 3 was 85%.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So once you drop to level 2, then you'll be at 66 or whatever, you know?
That's
so
cool.
yeah, so I was like, "Oh, what the fuck? Like, how can I get more?" Right? And they're like, "Oh, sign up for GED. GED gives you 7 months off." I was like, it should be easy, right? Hella easy. You know, I had a cool teacher. She was fucking, she was dedicated. You know what I'm saying? Like little problems, like I ask a lot of questions, right? Like, cause I want full understanding sometimes. Some people get bothered, you know what I'm saying? Where they're like, "Oh, don't ask me all those questions." I'm kind of the same way. I don't like being questioned. You know what I'm saying? But if it's like something that's going to help you, like, okay, cool, I'll go all the way.
Yeah.
You know, but that's just, I mean, you learn that in the system. Like, don't question me. What are you?
Right, you don't ask questions in prison. Right, yeah.
But it's kind of like, fuck, you know, like, I want to know, too. Like,
Yeah, so this teacher, she was hella cool, like, and then when I did my test, you know, because you got to do it in 4 subjects, right? So I did my test. She was like, "Oh man," she's like, "You got your GED, like, you ready?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "You want to enroll for college courses?" And I was like, "Yeah, we could do that." And like, yeah, I was like, "Cool." So I enrolled with Coastline out here in Orange County.
Okay, that's a good coastline.
Yeah, so I did Coastline. Then I started doing Bakersfield College. Like which was inside of Wasco. From there, I did the certificate, right? Like the cosign certificate for business. I never submitted it because they were like, "Oh, don't get your AA better. You know, it looks better on your board, right?" But I took so many classes that it just started chunking me down 3 months every year. You know what I'm saying? So I was already chunking down. So like in a period of like 2 years, I had already taken down like a year and some change. Just because of like the milestones from and then they credit them, right? They accrue them. Like you might not get them that year, but once it restarts, then you get all that time off. So it's like you just stack them, you know.
Okay.
So that became an issue because when I paroled, like 3 weeks later, they withdrew all those Prop 57 dates from lifers. So I don't think they have them right now.
Oh, okay.
So I just kind of slipped through the cracks.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's just fucking
barely.
trip. Yeah, I trip out like it's a trip because I still got homies that went aboard with me.
Yeah.
I got found suitable September 26th. You know, so then they got found suitable like around December, and then they're still stuck in there. You know, they should be getting out at the end of this year. You know, but it's like they're still stuck in there just because of that change in law. Yeah, they changed the law that affected them, and then now it extended their time. So then they're suitable, but they owe time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And when did you get out?
So I got out April 2nd, 2024.
Okay.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
2 years ago.
Shoo.
Little shy, little shy of 2 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Just a little over 2 years. Yeah.
It's over 2 years?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
April.
Okay.
We're in June now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so 2
No, I
years
was
and like 2
thinking-
months,
For some reason,
you know?
I was thinking later on in the year, October. I was thinking October.
Yeah, so I'm like 26 months out.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dang.
Congratulations.
Yeah. How did it
Thank
feel like coming out? Like, okay, you did what? Almost 10 years then in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn
A
it.
little short of 10, but yeah.
But I mean, and you didn't have, you went straight out, like you didn't have to go to no halfway house.
So I did. So the process with the board, I went to the board, I got found suitable. They gave you about 6 months for Gavin Newsom to like reject it or not. on like my 146, 45th day, around there, I get a notification that I've been embanked. Like, I don't know if you know what that is.
No.
Embanked. So embanked means that Gavin Newsom didn't reject it, but he didn't sign it either. So it goes back to the state. So then the state of California and then the board of like parole board, they either sign it or decline it, which is called affirm or deny, right? So then they affirmed it, which means like I was eligible and they were responsible for me to get out. You know, so I had to wait a whole other month. So I waited basically 7 months and like a week or two to actually get out from.
Feels like fucking 7 years. I've never like
when I got found suitable to that time, like it just tension was on the yard. You know what I'm saying? Like norteños were already there, so it was
You're
like
thinking the worst.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I'm like, fuck, I don't want to get caught up on a fucking riot. Like
That's all
shit
you
was
need.
happening.
Yeah,
Shit was
fuck.
already happening. Like it was just
I remember that time though too, because right after COVID, I remember when we were on lockdown too, and they were talking about the norteños and and that whole drama, and they fucking put everybody on lockdown. Like nationwide lockdown.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, it was one of those like, just you got to be mindful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, you learn a lot. You learn how to read the yard. You know, the homies. Like usually when you see like, you know, there's a conversation happening that's
But then you're like,
yeah, you're like, okay, fuck, let me get my workout in. You know what I'm saying? You
don't
come
raise
to,
your hand.
Yeah, you come to conclusions, you know, but it just, yeah, like at that time, it was like very, I felt like the opportunity that I had been asking for, you know what I'm saying, was granted to me, and I didn't want to lose it at no cost. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to jeopardize it for no reason. I kept working, you know, and we did a couple murals too right there in Soledad. So right after work, I would go and paint, you know, after painting, then I'll go to the classes. And I was kind of mostly like, those 7 months, I was kind of mostly absent of the yard, you know, except for the weekends, you know, I'll go run, play soccer, you know, do my rutina or whatever. And I mean, the homies were, it was just like, when it's mandatory, it's mandatory. Like, you can't escape that. Fuck work, you know what I'm saying? You got to come out. So little things like that, you know, that I had to adjust. But when that time came, you know, when I'm actually getting my ducket, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting my ducket. I'm like, fuck, like
to go home.
Yeah, you know, because you get it the night before. You know what I'm saying? And then they open up your door at 4 in the morning. Yeah, they open up your door at 4 in the morning. So the cop came and he was like, "Oh, that's it, Calderon." And I was like, "Yeah, you know." And I was pretty just up with the Judas because like I worked in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? I was the sergeant and captain's clerk. So. I worked a lot with the computer, you know what I'm saying? I did like all their wake up, you know what I'm saying? So there was times where I would have to go to certain buildings and be like, "Hey, you didn't let this inmate out, we need him now." You know, so they'll walk up there and Soledad's with key or the bar lock.
Okay.
It's not like the tower with the little button. You know what I'm saying? So the door doesn't slide, like it basically pops out. It's a pop out door, you know? So when I would tell them, "Hey, I need this inmate, you know, I need like this door, that door, whatever to be open." So I'll come with like my little sheet and sign with like whoever, where I would have to go certain places and get it signed or whatever. The food count, you know, for the nurses, you know, the nursery, like all the foods that are like in the infirmary, do that, the medal count, like all this shit, right? So I would constantly be around cops, right? Like they'll come around and be like, "Hey, like, did you do the count? Now let me count it after you."
So they were kind of familiar with
the one
that brought you the one that brought you the ducket.
Yeah. So well, the one that brought me the ducket was the inmate, but the one that opened up the door was somebody I knew, right? Like a Huda that I knew, you know? So he was like, "Oh, that's it." And I was like, "Yeah." So he escorted me all the way down, you know? And he was telling me, he's like, "Oh, what are you going to be doing?" You know? And I was like, "Well, fuck. I mean, first I want to get out of that fucking gate. I don't know if I'm going to get caught up, you know? Because homies hype you up and they're like, "Oh, you know, the feds are always out there, you know, and blah, blah." And I'm like, I don't want to get caught up.
They're going to be out there waiting for you for another case.
Right.
Exactly. It's fucking stressful.
Oh, no, you're going through 5. You're going through 5. Like, there's no fucking, I
was fucking stressed. And like, that was my first time, right, changing into like actual regular clothes, right? And I didn't ask for nothing fancy, you know. I still don't wear too much fancy shit. It's just like, if I'm gonna go out, cool. If not, then I'm cool, you know. And I had gotten this sweater. It was like an Under Armour that my sister got me. Some fucking jeans from like Target, Walmart, you know, and then like some Nikes, you know, some white Nikes, and some boxers, you know, and a belt. That was like the strange thing, right? Like having an actual belt. And because it's always like how do you call it, like just
waist
like
elastic.
Yeah, it's elastic, you know. So I was tripping out and I was like, fuck, I got a belt on. And yeah, so they let you change in this little like restroom, you know. So I'm changing in the restroom, and I had long hair back then. I had long hair, you know. So I had my hair, and I'm combing my hair. I'm putting like actual like, you know, like I took a little bag because all my shit I gave it away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I just took like with me. I took a little.
Everybody?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I took a little like a set of like brushes. You know, I took a little set of like acrylics. And my markers and pencils. And that's all I took with me, you know, in a little sheet pad. Because I was like, because they're like, oh, you're gonna be in a fucking, they're like, you're gonna be in a transitional home, and it might be a blackout. So you want to have your art shit, right? Because I was like, well, I'll go crazy if I don't paint. Yeah. So they're like, oh, because those were like one of my coping tools, you know.
Yeah.
So,
to draw.
Yeah, for sure, you know, and so I'm getting all my shit ready, right? And I get my little gel, my lotion, right? And then like, you know how they have the oils? So I was like, oh, when I get hugged, I want to smell good.
Oh, yeah.
And what are they, the musk? Yeah, yeah. So
I just got hella fucking flashbacks right now. You're talking about but yeah.
So I'm doing that, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm ready. Yeah, you know, making sure I do it. Yeah, so I'm doing all that, and then I'm like, fuck. So they make you wait, and then I was getting picked up by ARC. ARC picked me up with the I think it's called the ride share program, when they pick you up and then they take you to your destination. So I had submitted for it when I got found suitable, and then Carlos Cervantes, he got back at me and was like, hey, like we got you, just let us know the exact date, right? So then I got embarked, and then I got confirmed, and then they gave me a date, like around, they told me 10 days, right? But I left on the 7th day.
Oh, okay.
You know? Yeah, so I left on the 7th day, and I called them the night before, and I was like, hey, I got my ducket. Is it good? Okay, cool, we'll have a driver there at this time. Cool, perfect. So they have a little phone that's like, well, in the prison, it was like an old school one. Like you have to fucking...
Oh, the
rotary?
Yeah, because Soledad's so old, you know what I'm saying? So they still have that phone right there. So I'm fucking over there fucking... Yeah. And then I was like, did I dial the right fucking number, you know? And then he picked up, and I was like, hey, like I'm already dressed up and everything, ready to go. He's like, oh, your driver's name is Mike, you know? I thought he's gonna have a little sign. Fuck, no, I get out, this one got a sign. He's in the car looking all cool, and he's like, he's looking at his phone. He's like, I'm right here. You know, he's like, let's take a picture, right? And he gives me my little thing. And then I was like, fuck, like, because it said like, welcome home, you know, ARC or whatever. So I took a picture. And then I was like, hey, like, I'm good, right? And he's like, what you mean? And I was like, I'm good. Like, we can leave. Like, ain't nobody gonna pull us over, right? Yeah. He's like, oh, no, the feds are right there. And then he kind of showed me, right, there was like a van or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, cool, we're good to go, you know?
Yeah.
So just to drive back, you know what I'm saying? I hadn't felt like velocity in a long time.
The air is different.
Yeah, I hadn't felt speed, right? So I was kind of like, oh, what the fuck is motherfucker driving like 78?
Yeah.
Feeling it, you know, I'm looking at like, because I had seen it on the way from Moscow to Soledad, like because you get on the freeway, you know what I'm saying? You get on, it's the 101 highway. So you get on it, right? And it's kind of like, okay, cool, I'm seeing the whole scenery. But years later, like looking at it again, you're like, fuck, there's wineries, you know what I'm saying?
Just
there's
trying to take it
cows, like there's a fucking, you know, a vulture. Then I seen like, you know, little things that before were like not important, you know what I'm saying? And
or you hadn't seen for
you know what I'm saying? But it's like the little things that like brought me a lot of joy. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm like, fuck, like it's real, right? It's kind of kicking in, but then again, it's like, is it real or is it not? You know, even today, right, I was sharing with my girlfriend where I was like, babe, I remember like waking up and then thinking like, you know, having a dream that I was on the street. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then like I'll hear like, you know, the door open or, you know, somebody yell, dispensa en la tira or whatever the fuck. And I wake up and be like, oh, fuck. Like I'm back in this motherfucker, right? Yeah. So it was kind of weird because like I had kind of dozed off, you know, because I've been on the run, you know what I'm saying? Like I've been on the go. And I was like dozing off like yesterday, and then like I woke up and I was like, damn, like I don't know why I had like that feeling where it was like I wasn't here, but then I'm here. Yeah,
you know? No, I still have those kind of like weird feelings of, especially just having to experience COVID in there, and then like I trip out because even if I'm at work, okay, and I walk through the hall and suddenly I felt like I was supposed to have a mask on. Yeah. You know, because they make you wear it like 24/7, even in your cell, whatever. But like I would have these weird like instinct feelings like oh shit, where's my mask? But I'm like, I'm not fucking tripping. Why is that,
Yeah.
even occurring to
I mean,
me
it's
right
that.
now?
So,
Like,
I feel like it's unspoken,
it's a
right?
PTSD
Yeah,
kind of a
exactly.
feeling.
That PTSD, it's unspoken, where it's like, even when I first got out, you know what I'm saying, my first like 3-4 months, I had a lot of anxiety. You know what I'm saying? And I can relate it to anxiety because it's like, when there's tension on the yard, that anxiety you get and you're like, fuck, I'm fucking strapped up, like shit's gonna happen, like I don't want to be the one.
I felt that with weed when I got out.
Oh yeah.
Right when I got out, I couldn't smoke. I started smoking when I got out, but automatically I felt like right when I got like deep into my high, that's when like I stopped smoking. I can't smoke the whole joint, but I got to that point where like I felt
paranoid?
like something was gonna pop off.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's that anxiety,
So I had to stop smoking weed.
Yeah, and for me, I think it's because it was too fast. Like in there, it's like, your neighbors, you're like on your P's and Q's. People are like very respectful, like, hey, excuse me, right next to you, right behind you, thank you, have a good one.
There's courtesy.
Exactly.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? Out here, there's none of that. So I got out and it was like I was on my feet, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't drive or none of that, So it's like I have to like get from point A to point B, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna be doing it on the bus, I'm gonna be doing it walking, right? So I came back to my hometown and they put me in a transitional home, right? To kind of full circle on the first question. I went to a transitional house and it was right there in the hood. It's right here in Santana. It's on Townsend and McFadden. Mm-hmm. So Townsend is a known hood, you know what I'm saying? So they put me right there on the mouth of it, right? And for me, it's like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know who's driving this car. I don't know who's walking around. I don't know who's looking at me, looking for me, knowing that I'm out, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's a lot of like these thoughts, and I'm like, you become super vigilant, like in prison, but out here, like it becomes super extreme where it's like you get an over like sensation, right? Like it's like what they call it, like overstimulated. Yeah, overstimulated, where it's like fuck, like all these noises, all this sound, riding the bus, people touching me. The bus smells a certain way. There's like a lot of homeless in Santana. So
how did being here, being like overstimulated, now you're just like hyper aware of like everything, right? All your senses are coming back now. Yeah. How is life like for you? Just okay. Now you're a business owner, but did you already plan this while you were locked up? Did you have visions and dreams? Like what?
So yes and no, right? It's for whoever has a family member out there, what I'm saying, that is incarcerated. Like, there's many times, right, when you like plan something out. I just think in general, right? You plan things out and they don't play out as you plan them. Right. So coming out here, like, it's not the same as like when you're in there, because in there's a lot of things that, could be expensive, but your overhead is not really much. You know what I'm saying? Like you get fed, what I'm saying? There's showers, you get housed, your clothing, it's going to be there through a package that a loved one gave you, or sending you, or a little hustle that you made that you're getting that. And you can be comfortable for the next month or two. However, if you wash it every day, you're going to be good. If you wear it once on the weekends for visit, whatever, it could extend it for 6 months. Like, you figure out your own program of like how you're going to take care of what you have, right? The small things that you have, you take care of them, they last, right? So that's one of the principles I learned in prison, that if you take care of something, you'll make it last. So it's the same thing of like, when you come out here, you're like, I want to build something, I want to make something. Like, you first have a plan, you add a value to it, and then as it goes, you kind of adjust, but for me, reality hit out here. Even though I was in the transitional housing, it's like the bus, they're going to give me a stipend for a bus, but what about food? You know what I'm saying? Okay, they're going to give me a stipend for some food, and I could be doing 6 months in this housing unit, but then what about after? What about, where am I going to do after, right? So for me, I already had plans of like being like this huge like muralist, which is because I'm an artist, right? So I was like, I want to do murals. I want to get these gigs. I want to be able to do all this. I want to start a small business, but I just didn't know what at that time. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I wanted to gravitate towards like marijuana because I was once involved in that. But then like the legalities and like being on parole and things like that, it's like, it's not in my best interest, So then have to adjust and kind of replan things. And for me, it was like, I just want a second opportunity to like make things count. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was younger, throwing the parties, all that is a skill that was not fully developed, but nonetheless, I still have the experience, right? And looking for a job is difficult. You know what I'm saying? Because I probably went to like.
Were you picky?
No, it's because like you get paid 8 cents an hour, right? I was a porter at one point in time. I'm cleaning showers. It just, I'm doing what other people don't want to do for 8 cents. Like, I don't care. Just pay me minimum. I just want to get by right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not like I don't have a standard of like what I'm worth. It's just like as getting out, like I understand that the jobs that are available for me are only entry level.
Yeah.
And they get funneled down, and that's if they're okay with my record, because I have murder on my jacket.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like one of the things that showed me very quick, like how judgmental people are when it comes down to a job. I went to the spot for an interview, and they needed a dishwasher, right? And I was like, fuck, I fucking clean dishes. I don't give a fuck, you know? So they're doing this interview, and then the dude, he tells me, oh, how come you have a 10-year gap on your resume? Right, because it was like a walk-in, one of those speedy fucking interviews, right? Like you sit down for 5 minutes to break it down. So it said on there, you know, like I was on the bus and I seen it and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get a job. Why not, you know? So I get down there and I'm glad I didn't get that job. You know, and probably my whole life would have been, I don't know where it would have been. Yeah, you know. So I get off the bus, you know, and I go up in there. And I tell them, hey, I want an interview. They're like, okay, wait, you know, boom. So they asked me, oh, when was your last job? But I didn't have the tools to communicate that I did have a job, even though it wasn't like the best job. It was in prison. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know how to communicate that those skills were also valid, you know what I'm saying, for a position. So I didn't know that yet. You know what I'm saying? I had heard about it or whatever, but it's just like I didn't know how to communicate that, you know? So then I was like, oh, my last job was like years ago, blah, 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 you know? And he's kind of asking me about the time gap. And I tell him, yeah, like, you know, I was kind of, you know, locked away for a long time. But I mean, I'm ready for a job. I'm committed. You know, I'm here on time. I live down the street. You know, I take the bus here. I'll be here in 10 minutes.
Move forward.
Yeah, you know, I'll be here in 10 minutes, you know, blah, blah, blah. So his whole attitude changed, right? Like he just like from being in and kind of locked into like just being back. And he asked me like these stupid questions where he was like, oh, if your friends had to describe you in 3 words, what would they be? You know? And then I don't even remember what the fuck I responded. You know, and then he asked me like, oh, how would you describe yourself? You know? And I was like, oh, you know, committed, honest, you know, and ambitious, you know? Like, oh, okay, cool, nice. Oh, well, thank you for coming. Right, boom. And then like 10 minutes later, they call me and they're like, hey, we found somebody. Thank you for your application, yada, yada, with the whoop. You know, because he did the interview and then he filled it.
Hey, well, at least they had the decency of calling you to tell you, like, you know, you weren't accepted.
I was like, man, like in 10 minutes, you found somebody. Thanks, you know?
Yeah, okay.
But I was just like, okay, fuck it. It's going to be harder than I expected.
Yeah.
But that's why I aside from like, you know, doing the whole candy stuff, like I do a lot of shadow work, you know, which is like, I step into high schools, you know, I talk to kids like at access programs, you know, I'm trying to get into the juvenile hall. I work for Fulton College, you know, I go to Cal State.
That's
Fulton.
cool. My son just graduated from there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Was he under like Rising Scholars or was he not?
I don't know.
Okay.
He whatchamacallit, he majored in business finance.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so for me, I work for Rising Scholars, but I'm under the RISE program, which is the youth department. You know, so they have a program that basically emphasizes on like providing hope in a sense of like there's a stability and support system, and then transitioning into like them kind of attending classes, you know, whether it be like through high school, whether it be through like the college, and then transitioning on to like full throttle, like full college setting. Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
So yeah, so it's a little bit of everything, right? But that's the shadow work I do. I don't really like post it on my social media, none of that, you know. Sometimes I do like on a story, like, hey, I'm at this high school, whatever, you know, and I get some people be like, hey, have you seen my son? Like, talk to him, you know, yada, yada.
Cool.
But, you know, little things like that. But for me, like at that time, like I just didn't know what direction to go because I'm so confined. You know, when you're in the transitional home, the exchange is like you have to go to these classes. My parole wants me to do an NA, AA, you know, I have to go from point A to point B on the bus. So it's not like I'm driving and I'm getting there in 10 minutes. I'm taking the bus like 3 different big streets.
3 different routes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? When driving, I could get there in 5. You know what I'm saying? But on the bus, like I have to go all the way around and I can't cross the freeway. Going on the freeway, I'm there in 5 or 10, you know, but because I'm taking the streets, it's going to be like another hour and some change. So it's like all day I'm traveling on the bus, 3-4 hours, that it's like, well, where's the time for me to like have a job? You know what I'm saying? And then like I would paint at the transitional house I was at. I would paint, but it was like people don't know I'm an artist like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't know that I could do this. But then trying to put myself out there when it's like I haven't been active on social media for so many years.
Right, barely even know how to use it, right?
Yeah, you know, and then another thing too is like I didn't want to be public that I was out. So I was like put in that predicament, right? Where it's like if I want to make some money, I have to tell them that I'm out. But then like I don't want people to know that I'm out because then I'm in a transitional house where I have to report daily.
God.
So your page wasn't public.
It was public,
Oh,
but
okay.
it wasn't like I wasn't posting pictures of me.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
So you had to kind of like maneuver that.
Yeah, so my whole thing was like I don't want to be in this like transitional house and then for somebody to recognize me and be like, oh, now we know where to catch them. That's what I'm saying. Like the first like 4 months was like a lot of anxiety, a lot of
paranoid.
Paranoid awareness. You know, I'm conversating with people and I'm like, oh, I'm trying to read between the lines. Like this motherfucker after me or not. Like it's just a lot, right? And I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's like they say, you know, like I read it too where it says like someone with malice intentions becomes their worst enemy. Right. So for me, like my intent, you know, when I came out was a certain way, but because I was thinking that everybody was against me in a sense, like I'm already having like that malice intention of like finding little evidence that there's some type of like plot or something working against me, right? Agenda. Yeah, so it's like I learned to let it go. Right. Mm-hmm. But it was like I had to like really feel safe in the sense of like how, you know, like it's difficult. We want to know
how though.
Yeah,
it's like how can you tell like somebody that's watching right now that feels that it's like really hard to get somebody to just kind of like shift their perspective, you know. And
so it doesn't happen overnight, you know. It just, to me, it's kind of like the faith, right? Where it's like I understand the harm that I've created. I understand how people are going to feel, and as much as I say I'm sorry, I understand that it's also not going to heal their wounds. You know, and everybody processes at their own time. But if my time comes, then my time comes. You know, like I can't be out here robbing myself of like joy and all that because it's like, I spoke about it too when I shared it at this meeting because I go to like NA meetings and AA. The mindset of an addict is still there regardless whether the drug element is present or not. You know what I'm saying? Like I still think like an addict, you know, I still act like an addict sometimes. I still want to get high like an addict. And my highs don't come in the form of like shooting up or drinking or smoking or snorting. Like it comes in the way of like, oh, I did something good. Yeah, you know, I did something good. Boom, I'm hyped up, right? Yeah. I get a little bit like upset or whatever, and then it's like, oh fuck, you know, I fucked up. And then it's the ups and downs, right, of the mindset. So when you connect it to your character defects, like, you know, I'm resentful, you know what I'm saying? I'm entitled, you know, I'm manipulative, right? I'm in a sense, like I'm ignorant, right? Well, not like ignorant, like I'm stupid, but ignorant, like I ignore somebody and think I'm better.
Oh, right? Yeah. Or you're like a deliberate ignorance.
Yeah.
You deliberately just like ignore the facts, ignore what's
so
really
it's
happening.
Like tied into like denial, self-deception and all that, right? So I know all that, right? But the thing is, like, when it's instantly in the moment, I tend to be reactive of things, right? So it's like the react or the response, right? It goes in that moment. It's like, what am I going to choose, right? But because I'm so accustomed to always reacting, like as an addict and as an alcoholic, you know, that when the time comes when my emotions are fully charged, like I lean more on reactiveness. You know what I'm saying? I lean more on like fucking shit up and then be like, oh fuck, I'm sorry.
Then you gotta clean it up after.
Yeah, you know. So it's one of those where it's like, even though the drug element is not present, those behaviors are still there.
Oh yeah,
you know,
because I still deal with that too.
Yeah, because they're go-to triggers. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're go-to triggers. You know, and it affects you. You know what I'm saying? But
absolutely,
when you have like this, like how do I say it, like paranoid or like the anxiety, right? Of like, how the fuck do I overcome this? Like, you have to like accept that, have grace within yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like I did commit a mistake, you know, and I hurt a lot of people. But I've also forgiven myself and hope that they forgive me through my actions. Yeah. You know, because I can't rob myself of like opportunities, because for a long time I prepped for this opportunity. I not begged, but I prayed for mercy to have this opportunity. And now that I have it, like I can't be in my head, because I'm not going to perform or do what I have to do at my best level if I'm worried about the next man coming behind my back and just shooting me or stabbing me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not in prison no more, so my war mindset doesn't have to be active like that.
Yeah.
you know.
No,
So
And you realize that now.
yeah. Oh yeah. Now
Just,
yeah.
yeah.
But it's like the first couple months is just difficult. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it takes a while to adjust, right?
Yeah, and not just with that, just like you know, growing up the way we did, also I feel has an effect, you know, on us like that. And I remember my dad one time, I forgot for what reason it was, but he was just like, you know, if it's my time, it's my time.
Yeah.
And for one day that I was thinking like that, like how you were, like, you know, everybody's against me type shit, it just clicked with me that what my dad said, like, all right, you know what, and it's been working for me, you know.
Yeah.
If it's my time, it's my time, you know. But yeah.
Yeah, it's basically letting
but
it's like to say let go and let God, right?
Yeah.
Like it's basically like it's out of my hands. Like I'm not gonna carry this burden because my hands, I have to do something with my hands.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like that little analogy of like the backpack with rocks. You know what I'm saying? Along the way you're picking up all these rocks. Like
It's gonna weigh you down.
Yeah, it weighs you down and it slows you down to where you're supposed to go.
Yeah.
You know, you can't look at every rock and pick it up. Like there's something you just have to acknowledge and let it be.
And I think there's along the road that you hear little things that help you out with that. Like I had a superintendent, we were working up in the mountains, and he went up pretty high to go hike, and they told us around there about the mountain lions and shit. And somebody had mentioned at that meeting, our meeting broke up, our little safety meeting, and he talked about his little hike that he went up, like I don't know how high. And somebody was like, dude, what about the mountain lions? Did you take a gun with you at least? He's like, no, it's my time, it's my time. I just wanted to, you know, go up there and, you know.
Yeah.
Why worry about shit that hasn't happened yet?
Yeah. You know, like I just wanted to have, you know, peaceful time, good time, you know, with himself. And no need for a gun. If it's my time, it's my time. I was like,
and that's
I was like, right on.
yeah, and that's what I was saying, like shifting that negative mindset to like positive, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like the acceptance that happens right through that process, and also too, like I feel like when you're like very like anxious about something, there's an element of fear, right? So you tell yourself constantly like, oh, I'm not doing it because of this, but in reality it's like I'm fearful of like what can happen if
Dad, you're not fully gonna enjoy yourself.
Yeah, but it is always a hint of fear. That sets us back. Yeah.
So I think I just accepted all that, where it's like, okay, like I got to be fearless with this because I've survived like the worst episodes of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm able to like parole from like not to like glorify it and be like, oh, like I'm badass like that, but it's just like if I'm able to like, you know, overcome like a life sentence and get out.
Yeah.
Like I could basically do anything out here, you know, and it's could be like an inflated overconfidence kind of stance, but I have the confidence enough to like start something and see it through.
But see, that's,
you know?
like, you know, fear, that's what holds a lot of people back from a lot of things. And I hope what everybody gets out of this is, you know, that, you know, one thing about fear is if you're feeling that, just do it. Don't hold back.
That's your sign that you should be doing it.
Yeah.
The more afraid you are.
It's telling you like, hey, no, fuck that. You know, like this could be your opportunity right here.
Right.
Because you gain experience out of it, you know. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's been all great. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's all been gravy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But at first I sold huaraches. You know, that was like one of my first hustles, like selling huaraches, the Mexican ones, like the handmade ones. I sold those. Then eventually it got kind of cold, and then moved on to like the Chapatito. You know,
so tell us about that. This right here.
Yeah. I mean,
what I've been waiting for, the taste test. Yes.
You want to know how did Chapatito?
What flavors? We got two different flavors.
So you guys got the gushers each.
Yeah, are they
these are the top
same?
sellers.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're the same. Should we just open one if this is the same?
And so it's up to you guys, you know.
Yeah. You want to hear about the business, or you want to try these first?
Well, let's just try it, and you can tell us about it while we.
This is Chapatito Gushito.
Gushetitos, yeah.
Gushetitos.
It's like gushers, but it's a play on words with like the name.
Yeah. Let me show them really quick. So this is the business right here. You guys are curious.
Now, is this something that you made in prison? Like, what is this a certain like?
What it looks like.
So
How did you come up with this idea? Like,
So I grew up right here in the hood, you know, in Santana, and coming back from school, coming back from like a church or
it's like a glass of,
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
And I don't really like eat chamoy stuff, but it's like, it's good.
Yeah, no, I gotta get the full effect. I gotta get like 4. Yeah.
It's a good thing you're bulking, babe.
How long have I been
No,
bulking?
no, that's good, huh?
Oh, that's
It's really good. Hold on. Let me get this one. I'm sorry. Okay, as you were saying.
1 out of 10. What you guys rated?
Oh, good. 1 out of 10 for Henny. I was actually pleasantly surprised. Okay, it tastes a lot better than it looks, you guys.
I'm gonna tell you right
I'll
now.
say it's a 10. It's good.
A lot of these candies,
No complaints here.
they're made just with the powder or the salt or whatever, right? I don't like that. I like them.
Oh,
I like them kind of
a sweat.
get your mind out of
Like-
there. I like them a little wet like that. No, for real.
Moist.
Yeah, a little wet.
That's right. Yeah.
No,
I know, it's really
don't like-
good.
I don't like the dry ones.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah,
I don't
the
either.
gas station ones are just and that's kind of what encouraged me too, right? Because so when everything started, right, where I was
They're
like,
fire. They're-
Yeah.
Yeah.
thank you.
It's good.
They're the kind I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah,
here.
thank you. Yeah, the at that time, like all the sales are going down for the huaraches, right? And I'm kind of like, fuck, like how are we gonna figure it out, right? Because I have a partner at this time, right? So I'm like, okay, like low investment, high return, like what's on there, right? So I started kind of looking up things, doing my research,
Excuse me.
and then I was like, oh, chamoy candies, right?
Yeah.
So I started going to like the liquor stores, gas stations, and I'm like, some of them were good, you know, because it was something new to me, right? Where I was like, oh shit, this is good. I remember having something like this when I was a kid, but it had a little bit more of like a traditional Mexican candy kind of taste, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't so like dry, it wasn't so much like full of tajin, you know what I'm saying? Like it was more like an experience, right? So for me, the experience was like walking to like the little troquita, the little food trucks, you know what I'm saying? And be like, hey, like I want a mix of like, you know, let me get like some gummy worms, you know, with some betos, let me get like the chamoy, the Valentina, you know what I'm saying? Shake it up, you know, throw this and that on there and
Let me get the works.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And this lady like, you know, she'll shake it up or whatever and then she'll give it to me, and back then it was like 75 cents. You know what I'm saying? Like you get like 3 packs of like this, 3 packs of that. And as time went by, like that became my go-to, you know, after school. So when I first tasted the chamoy, like from like other places or other companies, I was like, man, like there's an improvement that can happen. You know what I'm saying? So went to the kitchen, you know, was like, hey, let's buy this, let's buy that, shake it up and mix it, right? And then at that time I'm ordering from like just basically underground sellers, right? Like people that are selling underground. I'm ordering from them and I'm like, hey, like how much are you selling for? Oh, $5, $4, right? And I'm like, okay, well let me get 2 of these flavors. So I'm tasting them and I'm kind of like, oh, this is pretty simple. It's just fucking straight chamoy with like tajin, lucas, and then that's it. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, that price range is like super short. And you're selling there for $4, you're pretty much like almost like quadrupling your cash, which is pretty good, right? But I was like, you can't be like other competitions. Like you have to be unique, you know what I'm saying, on a taste. So slowly but surely, you know, started mixing other things. And the first recipe, it was kind of like I shared it last time. It was like you know that movie Flaming Hot?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and then when they're trying to get the recipe and they're giving it to a kid and the kid's kind of like, nah. So that's kind of how it was, right? Like I'm
That was a good movie, matter of fact.
Really?
yeah, I mean, it's inspirational too.
Very
you know what I'm saying?
inspirational.
Yeah, you know. So,
We gotta watch it.
Okay.
yeah, so you know, we're serving them to the kids, you know, and they're like, oh nah, too spicy or like too sweet, like you know, you just taste the
No,
candy,
try
like
it.
no real like flavor, right?
Yeah.
So after like maybe like 40, 50 different tries, you know, different processes, you know, here and there, came about and was like, hey, like taste this one, and it was balanced, kind of like what you're tasting today, like it was super balanced. And and I was like, okay, like I think this is the one, so then that became the official like glaze for then all the other candies, because I also have like gummy worms, gummy bears, like Sour Patch watermelons. I do rim dips, which is basically the same glaze, but it's like more on a adaptable kind of for rim dips,
Yeah.
People also eat them with fruits, what I'm saying? I got a couple homies that order a couple just for fruits, with their fams. And just little things like that, right? But
Yeah.
once people started trying it, like they became more like repeat customers, but it started off kind of slow, right? Because I at first I had a different name for it, right? But the partner I had and she didn't believe in it as much as I did, right? It was kind of like, oh, it's like a high school thing and it's kind of already on the way down, right? And I'm like, like there's potential for it, but it's just, you got to get out there. It's the same thing as any business, you know what I'm saying? You have to,
like you said, you got to be unique.
Yeah, you have to get out there, and do your thing, so.
Yeah, you got to really hustle it and market it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, It's one of those where you have to push it, So slowly but surely, and then my mom used to call me Chapatito.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, like I'm a
That's why.
so I was like, I'm gonna call it Chapatito, So
Aww.
yeah, and then I went through the whole legal process of it. Yeah, they're addicting. Yeah, they're very addicting.
That addictive personality.
Okay, but question, like, did you use the story, your background, to market the product? Like, did people realize, aside from the people that you knew that you were selling it to because they were homies and stuff, right? So, like, perfect strangers that you were marketing to, do they have any idea that this is you that's selling? This is you just got out, bro. It's like it has 2 years. I mean, this is okay. So when did you start this? Like maybe a year ago, or
like 8 months ago?
8 months?
Yeah.
Oh, this is super fresh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I the process started like maybe like a good year.
This is development, yeah.
But like once it became like official, right? Like the paperwork and then like the OC health department and everything coming together.
Yeah.
Yeah, like about 8 months.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, yeah.
But did
Thank you.
as you were marketing it, like just word of mouth, like
yeah. So yeah. I mean, at first you gotta kind of like put them out there, right? Where it's like, hey, like, cause I got this buddy who I did a video with, and I just took over the table at Cal State Fulton and I just set up, right? I just set up and I was like, yo, 3 for $25. Like, you guys interested?
Okay.
No? And then I would have samples, and then when they would try, they're like, oh shit, let me get it. But when I would tell them the brand, they'll be like, oh, I never heard of it. So then I was like, oh, I got an Instagram. And at that time, I probably had like 40 followers, right? So they're like, oh, okay, cool, whatever, Then I was offering for parties, right? Because it was like, okay, so if people are going to become more aware of it, the strategy is for people to kind of taste it, right? It's like I tell my girlfriend, it's location, right? Like it's placement. That's what matters the most, right? Placement, like, because you can have the best product and nobody around tasting it.
Oh, it's about location.
It doesn't create the like word of mouth, right? So for me, it was like, okay, like I want to do like birthday parties, I want to do weddings, but there's like a volume, right? There's people who are like consistently there, like they're either chilling or whatever, and kids or whatever, and once I identified that it was like kid approved, oh shit, it just, any birthday party is gonna have it because it's not too spicy and it's not too sweet either.
Yeah.
It has a good balance,
Yeah.
So for me, I started marketing that, right, where it's like, oh, we're gonna do 12 packs for this much, 24 packs for this much, and some people were like, it's too much, but then other people were like, oh, the quality's good, let me get them, right?
Yeah.
So then the people who did like at first in the beginning, order like the 12 packs, 24 packs, like their friends are like, hey, who the fuck is this? Like, how come they don't have this like at the liquor store, right? So it became more a little bit exclusive, but it was like, you can get at me through my phone, the number, it routes to my phone. Or you can have it, on the website, just like either hit us up or not, And so people started inquiring, like, hey, how can I get a 24 pack? How can I get a 12 pack? And then little by little, I was like, okay, well, I got to do flyers now, So I did flyers with the same special, but the design wasn't so attractive. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just informational, right?
Yeah.
So in the new era of like, social media, ChatGPT, like, you need things to be attractive,
You need things to pop.
Yeah, you know, at least that attention span of like 2
3 seconds.
Yeah, whatever it might
Yeah.
be, just
Yeah.
something quick to like, you know, because what I've learned at school, it's like it's the customer journey, right? Like they're how are they going to become aware of like your brand? 1, 2, how are they going to become loyal to it, and then 3, how are they going to purchase? You know, but in between there and then, like you have to figure out of like how to get their attention 1st. You know, so and now with so much competition, so much like, you know, that goes on your phone, like
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
it's very difficult, but once you kind of step into that ground, you have a little room for movement. You know what I'm saying? So that was the most difficult, right? But I just started going places, you know what I'm saying? I started going to the baseball parks. I started going to like the schools, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, like, hey, like, you know, I had to do a lot of videos, you know what I'm saying? Like I did a lot of social media videos where I'm like, hey, like exchange, you know, my candy for your food or for your cookies or whatever product you sell. Like
Yeah.
let's build a community, right?
Yeah.
Networking. Yeah.
Social media community where if it's hometown, it's hometown, you know what I'm saying? And how can we get it out there to other people? And then slowly but surely, it was like, hey, like, you know, my cousin's, you know, throwing a little birthday party for her daughter. Like, how much would you do a 12-pack? You know, and like, hey, you know what? Like, I'll look out. Just, you know, when the time comes and I need like, you know, a 12-pack from you, then hook me up with this. Like, so a little bit of networking, but also too like favor for favors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you can't
sure.
always charge when it's like you're trying to build a community.
You just
You know?
need to
No,
get your
yeah.
name out there first. Let's let it be known.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I did with my business. I threw programs to people, you know, in the hopes that, you know,
So you can get their review.
Yeah.
You know, their feedback and you know they referrals and stuff like that. For
But that's
sure. Yeah,
that's
so it's
kind
free.
of the I think for me, like especially like because it's like community based, the most powerful like tool is word of mouth. You know what I'm saying? Because I've had people call me and be like, hey, like my pregnant girlfriend, you know, like I'm not saying like a man's calling me, but I'm saying like a female's calling me and saying, hey, my pregnant girlfriend tried your candies at the pop-up and I want some. And she
she's
says,
craving them.
yeah,
Yeah.
she said you do delivery.
Just like you are right now.
You know, she said you're doing deliveries, you know, and it's like, yeah, cool, I got you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yeah, I mean, I get random calls, you know, like, and
That's
people
cool.
want to buy 6-packs, 4-packs, whatever it is, you know, and I'm grateful for it. You know, I also to direct them, like some people live a little far, so I direct them to the website. I do have a website and all that, but just constructing all that, you know, takes time. But in the past 8 months, like it's just been growing and a lot of exposure. And to answer your question, like some people, they don't know that I'm the owner of it. You know, but there's a lot of support behind it because it's kind of like that comeback story.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. Like, have you blended the business and your background together as one? You know, because a lot of people just not necessarily. Sometimes they'll fall in love with the product, and other times they fall in love with the person. You know, or their story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was wondering, like.
So I mean, I feel like it's a merge, but it's also too like my responsibility to change the narrative because as a former lifer, like somebody opened up those doors for us. You know what I'm saying? So it's my responsibility to not only open the doors, but follow that path and open other doors for those that are coming behind me.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's what I think. You've got a second chance, essentially, right? Now you've got a second chance at life to do things right, to not fuck up, but also use that pain, you know, to a higher purpose, right? Like, okay, now you got to serve. I believe a lot of it is just like, okay, you were selfish for this amount of time in your life, and you know, obviously that didn't lead you nowhere. So now it's time to be like selfless, and serve other people.
Pay it forward.
Pay it forward.
Yeah, because it's like I mean, this is President Rashawn's words, right, from Kelsey Fulton. He said the biggest leaders don't command anything; they serve. You know, so when it comes down to taking that role, right, that responsibility, like. I don't know if they knew or not, the ones that like opened up the gates for us, you know, as far as like life, especially my age group, because I'm only 35, you know, so I fall like, I'm the youngest lifer in my lifer meetings. Everybody else is like 45, 50, 60 something. We got like an 80-year-old that's always like, he's like, why am I out here? You know what I'm saying? Like, they just brought me out here to die. Like I could have died in there and I have nobody. Yeah. Right. And I mean, I that's his perspective. That's his story and it's respectable, but it's also like unfortunate. Yeah. You know, because it's like he did like 50 something years in the system.
Yeah.
You know, and being out here, it's like, damn, like I'm blessed to be out here this young with this strength, with this mindset and the support that I have. Mm-hmm. You know, it's so different from like, I'm not saying like his mindset, but I'm saying like it's so different for me because there's other men who wish they would have gotten out at my age, you know, but also too at my age, there's other lifers that if I fuck it up, they don't get a chance because we also fall in that high recidivism rate of being 30 something, you're still on that high recidivism rate.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, but because I'm a lifer, I fall under the short recidivism rate. So which one am I going to be? Right. So I want to change that narrative because at least in my experience, right?
No, well said, bro. Yeah.
In the totality of my experience, right, for being a lifer, like there's a lot of like stereotype, you know, there's a lot of like biased perspectives, right? Especially in school, like I do deal with it sometimes here and there where people find out like, oh shit, this fool was a lifer, he killed somebody, like, oh, he was drunk. Fuck this fool, right? Like they don't come at me and be like, oh, fuck you. But just like their behavior, the distance, like I can read it, you know what I'm saying? I'm not stupid.
Body
you know?
language says a lot.
Yeah, you know, like I read it. So it's like, okay, cool. I'm not going to look for it. It's not like, you know, but it's like, I also know that because of my past decisions, some doors are going to remain closed, you know, but my duty as like a former lifer is to change that narrative where it's like, even though you think that we're fuck ups, we're really a little bit smarter than the average bear. You know, we're capable of a lot more. It's just that when we have that opportunity, we seize on it. But it's also too, like in a sense, our burden to provide that opportunity for those that are coming behind us, because they might not get it nowhere else. They might not have no doors to knock on, except for those that they relate to. Right. You know, and that's why, like, I mean, I worked for Project Kinship, you know, at one point in time, you know, now I work for like, you know, Rising Scholars and Fulton College, and it's all within that field where my experience is not only valued, but it's also too powerful because it inspires those that are like coming behind and being like, fuck, like, how do I get into college, right? Like, how do I pursue higher education? Like, damn, you were a lifer and you got out. Like, and you've been sober this whole time and then you got a small business. Like, how do I do it? Exactly. Right. So it's like that connection that if you were like formerly incarcerated and then you go to like a school and then there is no set program, because I'm also too part of Project Rebound. I don't know if you guys heard of Project Rebound. So I'm also too part of Project Rebound, you know, and Project Rebound's also to open up a lot of doors for me. You know, I lived at the John Irwin house at one point in time, you know, so for them, like, they provide a lot of opportunity, but it's within our own circle, right? Within our own community that's been experienced that, you know, that's opening doors for others. So it's also too, like, it's like they say, you know, like, you keep what you give away, you know? So for me, it's like they've given me a lot of opportunity, a lot of open doors and exposure. Like, now it's my duty to give it to somebody else when they need it. Yeah. You know, so that's kind of where I'm at with that as far as like the changing the narrative, and like it's like one of my biggest purpose too, you know, because I experienced a lot in there, and I know that there's a lot of good men in there, and because of them, like, I'm where I'm at today. What is your main takeaway out of that time that you had spent in prison? Being intimate, you know, with myself. You know, for a long time I ran away from like those feelings, you know, I ran away from like reality, right? Where it was like I wanted to escape like with the drugs, I wanted to like numb myself and not feel like pain, but having to accept reality is difficult, especially when it's like my desire was to have my mom for the rest of my life. But that's not realistic. You know what I'm saying? People die and you have to accept that, you know, and that's part of the grief process, you know, wanting to like be something, and it was like, that's not my role, you know what I'm saying? It's not my purpose. But as much as I tried to lean on that direction, there was always something that took me away from that, you know? So accepting my purpose too as well was like difficult, you know? Being intimate with myself as far as like my emotions, you know? Like, I'm a man, but I'm also human. Yeah. You know, I can feel my emotions, you know? I don't have to shy away from them. I don't have to numb them. I don't have to put them to the side. You know, I can take a time in a place to reflect on them and grow from them. Is that where you learn to like actually be able to name your emotions? A lot of people don't know how to name them. They don't know what they're feeling is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Being able to name the emotional like, I am sad, right? Yeah, that part. Yeah. And that's where you picked it up from. Yeah, so I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, sit in that solitude. I didn't learn all this by myself. You know, I learned it from a lot of good men in prison that might never come home. You know, they might never come home, but their work that they've done on themselves is like outstanding, you know, and they're happy and content with seeing someone like me come home, you know, because they showed me a lot of love where it was like, through a lot of accountability, a lot of like, hey, this is like, you're seeing it the wrong way. You're seeing it in a way that's going to hold you back from your potential. 1, 2, from your freedom, and 3, from your family. You know, you say that this is your values, but yet you're protecting this, you're the problem. Like, how do you disconnect that and realign what you value?
That
Right?
is-
It's powerful.
That's awesome to hear that, you know, they're, you know, that, you know, we're bringing this to people's attention that there's actual people in there that are setting you up for success in there,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, no,
You
but
need to hear that.
for sure. And I'm glad like there's people out there that are, you know, and you having the willingness, open-mindedness to hear what they're telling you, because a lot of people will be too prideful with their ego, like, nah, you don't know me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you just, but to be able to change that lens.
Well, I mean, it didn't happen overnight too, you know. I
It
think
takes time.
it just, I think once you start seeing things, right, like the acceptance is super important, right? The willingness is super important, where it's like, I shared it in a meeting too, right, where like my sponsor, he had been in the shoe for like 28 years, right? So this one was ruthless. Like, he was just super ruthless, but he was smart, you know what I'm saying? And whenever it came down to like any excuse he could identify, you know, like, well read, you know what I'm saying? Like, he knew what he was talking about, right? So when I would give him an excuse for something, he'll hold me accountable, right? When I wasn't going too deep on a matter where I had no insight, he'll force that insight. Like, what else do you see? Like, how did you feel? What did they feel? Like, where are you going with this? You know, where is it at? What other areas of your life is it trickling in, right?
That's
so it's
dope.
like that constructive like criticism, but it's also too forcing me to think about things that I don't usually think about.
Right.
Yeah.
I love
You know,
it.
because now it's like, okay, like if it's happening in this area of my life, it's also happening here. But am I in denial of that connection, right? So once you start seeing like certain things and you're like, fuck, like it is true, right? And you start accepting it, you're like, okay, I'm more willing to like accept my flaws, right? And then how can I change my flaws, right? What am I gonna apply in the moment as far as like a practice, like right now and then when shit's hitting the fan, so I don't commit the same thing that I've done all these years.
Right.
It makes you stop and think like, okay, if I do this, what can happen? You know, like what are the hazards? What are the precautions I can take? And
then too, the ego gets
it's kind of
involved.
like at work.
I was just thinking, you just said something from work right now with the hazards.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's how I think about stuff now.
Yeah,
How you were
related.
talking about reaction.
Yeah.
Instead of just, you know, acting on impulse.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like I learned a lot of this from work.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of times you can tell, you know, when somebody's new, they're gonna just do something without even thinking of what can happen.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Well, that's
lot
the
of-
experience part, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody does
sure.
that.
For sure. I thank God for work. I learned that, man. Yeah. Because I know for sure, like when I started working in the laborers union, I would, you know, the money that I was getting paid, I was just fucking it off. I wasn't thinking, you know. I was just could have been putting it to some, you know, better.
Yeah, like
use.
investing and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and I without even thinking, I was just, I fucked it all off.
But I think it happens too. Like for me in the beginning, it was like that too, where I was like, oh, I want to get this, I want to get that, right? And it's like, I've been without all that. You know what I'm saying? Like I was super content in prison, right? Like I'm not saying like I was happy in prison, but what I'm saying like content. Like, okay, cool, I got 2 new shirts, right, that I can rock for like X amount of fucking months, right? And I don't need like 50 shirts now that I have access to everything.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
the simple life. You're comfortable with just the bare minimum that you know, and that's all you need. Yeah, and you don't need a lot of space. You don't need a lot of material things to live comfortably.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like the material things, right? Which is like when you spend your money on certain things, like you're not thinking of like safety, right? And like the comfort, right? Of like just the survival things, like the first like layer of like just living life out here, which is why I said, like you come out with plans, but then like, oh fuck, rent's this much, right? Gas is this much, food is this much, and it's like fuck, like.
And now
prison,
gas,
I was
and
living it up in prison for like $300 a month.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so you come out and everything changes, right? So your priorities, the timing and the times when you want to invest kind of change as well, So for me, it's been a lot of ups and downs, you know what I'm saying? A lot of like, okay, we're moving forward, now fuck, we got to move backwards, we got to follow this, how much it costs, get into this space, that's how much it costs, how much did we make, and everything's like numbers, right? But slowly but surely, like from the initial investment to where we're at today, it's like exponentially, like it's grown, you know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful for that. And then all the videos like that we done like on social media, I mean, there's people who also like shut doors on me and be like, fuck, like we can't have you. I'm not gonna say where, but it was in South County, right? I had like petitioned for me to be like at a park, and at first they were like, okay, cool, we're good, right?
Yeah.
And then
they found out.
Yeah, and then they were like, okay, we're sorry, we're sorry to notify you, but we're gonna be retracting this agreement, based on safety for the community or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not a bad guy, I just made a poor decision, but I understand it too, I understand that with the decisions that I made are also going to close some doors, so I'm okay with that. It's just a learning lesson, a little hiccup, and push forward.
There you go. That's right.
So.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. It was a really, truly inspiring story. I love the comeback. I love like how much momentum you've been building just the short time that you've been out.
Yeah.
Welcome back. And
it's only the beginning,
Yeah.
That's right. Heck yeah. And I hope that a lot of people who are watching are getting inspired. I mean, I'm sure. I'm inspired,
Definitely.
and
and it's good, man.
And
It's the kind I like. With that being said, with everybody that makes these candies and stuff, it's the dry ones. They're not all they're not all bad. Some of them have really good flavor. It just depends on the mix, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, we did like what 40 or 50 different times to get it right.
That's right. Got to.
Man, it's definitely the kind that Rigo would like. Rigo doesn't like spicy.
I'm sure.
He doesn't like spicy.
Where can they find you?
So either on Instagram, which is like Herbert J. Calderon. I do have the website for the candy, which is chapatito.com. And there's also an Instagram for the candy, which is Chapatito Chamoy Antojitos.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a little long. I know. It's a little long.
Chapatito.com.
And then like on the little clips that we're gonna be pushing out on IG, we're gonna tag you. And collab with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That way you guys could just go straight to the tag and go to his page. I'm sure he's gonna have a website on there, right?
Yeah.
A little link.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all on there for sure.
That's cool. Well, I love what you're doing for the community as well and for the youth. So keep it up.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you again.
Thank you, Herbert. Herbert, right?
See.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
congratulations.
You. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Locked In to Win podcast. This is
Episode 20.
Episode 20. Go check him out, Herbert. It's like I said, we're gonna have all his handles. We're gonna have all his handles tagged on all the little clips that we push out. Go show some love and support for small business, you guys.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and hype it up.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's roll.